The Nissan pregame shift is coming up next.
Nissan, proud partner of the Heisman Trophy and the Bowl Championship Series.
And welcome everybody to the Nissan pregame shift from the beautiful University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, just outside Phoenix. It's the 40th Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. The Connecticut Huskies against the 7th-ranked Oklahoma Sooners. And here comes Connecticut. University of Connecticut has been playing intercollegiate football since 1896. Tonight, the biggest game in school history, their first BCS Bowl game. UConn, the champions of the Big East at 8-4 overall, 5-2 in Big East play. They shared the Big East regular season title with West Virginia and Pitt and won the conference tiebreaker to be the BCS Bowl representative, led by the great running back number 23, Jordan Todman. The Big East Offensive Player of the Year and one of the best running backs in the country. Coached by Randy Edsall, who's done a remarkable job. When he got there 12 years ago, they were a 1AA team. And getting ready to face one of the all-time powers in college football history. Sooner Schooner and Oklahoma. The Sooners making their way onto the field. 11-2 overall. Champions of the Big 12 Conference for the 7th time in the last 12 years under head coach Bob Stoops. This has been the Nissan pregame shift. Well, Oklahoma, this must seem familiar. The Big 12 championship, your 4th in 5 years. Favored to defeat an allegedly overmatched opponent once again. But you know better than anyone the hard realities of letting an underdog sneak up and bite you in the heart when it counts. For you, tonight is all about redemption.
Touchdown, UConn!
And what about you, UConn? Sure, you earned a share of the Big East title, finished with 5 straight wins, and fought through a personal adversity few will ever know. It's time for you to prove the critics wrong and validate your right to even step onto this field. This is no fiesta of second chances, no bowl of mercy. This is your last game of the year. Your last chance for redemption, for validation, for pride. Welcome everyone to ESPN's presentation of the 2011 Tostitos Fiesta Bowl from University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. The first meeting ever in football between the Connecticut Huskies and the Oklahoma Sooners. Hi everybody and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough along with Matt Millen. Delighted to have you with us and Happy New Year. We'll be joined by Heather Cox in just a moment. The Oklahoma Sooners appearing in their 8th BCS Bowl game in the last 13 years. And Matt, understandably so, they are the big favorite tonight. In fact, in the 13-year history of the BCS, they're the biggest favorite in any BCS game ever, 16.5 points. You can understand why. They're loaded with talent on offense.
Oh, they really are. And it starts with the triumvirate offensively, led by their quarterback, Landry Jones. Landry Jones is the first of the three. But he has some help. Ryan Broyles, 118 receptions. But Jones right here, this guy, fast release, gets rid of it quick, hard to get to, very accurate. He's not afraid to throw the ball around the field. And when he does, Ryan Broyles, 118 receptions this year. He's in the slot. He's their big playmaker. And oh, by the way, they have a running game. Over 1,100 yards rushing by DeMarco Murray and 69 catches. That, my friend, is good balance.
And they come in here off the win over Nebraska in the Big 12 title game. Meanwhile, Connecticut at midseason looked like it was heading nowhere. They were 3-4 overall, 0-2 in the Big East, but they turned their season around, finished with a 5-game winning streak to make their first BCS bowl game ever. They've only been a full BCS team since 2002 when they went to 85 scholarships. They are the big underdog tonight. What's it going to take for them to have a chance to win?
Well, that's a great question. In fact, there's a reason and there's a recipe for them to win. First of all, they have to start fast. And they also need something good to happen early, a turnover or a punt returner or something like that. And then here's the most important part. They've got to be physical. This is going to be a punch-you-in-the-mouth type of game for UConn. If they can do that, it's going to start in their running game. And that's where Jordan Todman comes in. They are not afraid to run Todman early and often. They'll give it to him on first and second. If it's third and short, you'll see a steady diet of him. Last but not least, Zach Frazier, their quarterback. He's going to have to play the best game he's played all season. He cannot turn it over. He can't be the reason that they lose. When he has opportunities, he's got to make them.
The Huskies have overcome that early season adversity on the field, off the field the last 2 seasons. They've had to deal with much more than that. With more, here's Heather Cox.
Sean, the UConn Huskies continue to honor the memory of their fallen teammate Jasper Howard, who was murdered in October of 2009. His memory is constant. He's an honorary captain, and no one has worn his number 6 jersey since he passed. Now, just hours before he was stabbed to death following a UConn game, he told reporters, "You have to play every play like it's the last play." Those words have become a driving force for the Huskies. Jasper's locker remains intact, and teammates have added pictures of his daughter, Jemiah, who was born after his death. Jasper died in his best friend's arm, teammate Kashif Moore. So when Coach Edsall was thinking about Jasper and how much this game would mean to him, he went to Kashif and said, "Do you want to wear that number 6 jersey?" Coach Edsall and Kashif decided to keep it a secret. So it wasn't until just moments ago in the locker room when Kashif wore number 82 in warmups and then went into the locker room and changed into number 6 that his teammates saw the action. Now, guys, this team came out of that locker room with a type of emotion, a type of energy, a type of unity that is palpable down here on the sideline.
Well, Randy Edsall was very emotional yesterday, Heather, when he was telling the 3 of us about his plan to ask Kashif Moore to wear Jasper Howard's uniform. Randy, as he teared up, said this would have been Jasper Howard's last game. I wanted him to be a part of this game. He called Jasper's mother, Joangela, in South Florida, and said, "Watch the game. We're going to do something special." So I'm sure Jasper's mom appreciates that tribute tonight. He is very much still in the hearts and minds of the UConn football family. Bob Stoops. Oklahoma won the toss and deferred. Of course, when Bob first got to Oklahoma, he earned the reputation, the nickname Big Game Bob. Won a national championship in his 2nd year, but the track record has not been good in recent BCS bowl games. They've lost their last 5, including 2 memorable defeats to Boise State and West Virginia here at the Fiesta Bowl. So he and his team determined to change that recent history around tonight. It'll be Patrick O'Hara with a big leg to kick off. And one of the strengths of Connecticut is their kickoff return team. Nick Williams has returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns this year. And he'll get a chance from the 2-yard line. Williams, and good coverage by Oklahoma as he was stopped just beyond the 20-yard line by Sam Proctor. They'll mark it at the 21. So Connecticut begins on offense, led by senior Zach Frazier. Like his team, he had an up-and-down year. He was the starting quarterback for the first 4 games of the year. They went 2-2 against a pretty easy schedule. He was yanked at halftime of the 4th game of the season, replaced by Cody Endress. But then Endress was kicked off the team. Michael Box, a redshirt freshman, started against Louisville. but he suffered a concussion. Frazier got a chance to go back in and led them to 5 straight wins to get them here. Hands it off to Jordan Todman, the Big East Offensive Player of the Year, averaging 143 yards rushing per game, and he's ahead to the 24 for a gain of 3. Todman's a junior from North Dartmouth, Massachusetts. A lot of speculation that this could be his last game at Connecticut, that perhaps he'll enter the NFL draft. And he seemed to indicate that to us when he spoke to us the other day. Here's Robbie Fry. Speedy back up to Todman. Took it around the corner and came up a yard short of the first down. It's a Connecticut offense, only 96th in the country in total offense. Anthony Sherman, a terrific blocking fullback. Smith and Moore, the wide receivers, and Griffin is a solid tight end. Up front, a very good offensive line. Mike Ryan and Zach Hurd, first team All Big East this year. And the center, Mo Petrus, second team All Big East. That's part of the group that wants to make it a physical game. Direct snap to Jordan Todman. And if he got it, it was just barely. It looked like he made it to the yellow line according to the official on the far side of the field. But as you see, the official on the near side is marking it short of the yellow line.
Well, this is a direct snap, and if they're going to have any success, that looks like pretty. I don't know about that spot there.
Yeah, well, as he said, there seemed to be a great disparity between where the two officials were going to mark the ball. The one official from the far side walked in right along that yellow line. The official on the near side marked it well short of the line. So here's Cole Wagner to punt. On 4th and less than a yard. Ryan Broyles stopped immediately. 41-yard punt, no return. Anthony Sherman made the tackle. Here's Landry Jones. You know, it's a pretty tough league when 4,289 passing yards is good for just second team. And that was the media second team All Big 12. The coaches had him honorable mention behind Brandon Whedon of Oklahoma State and Robert Griffin III of Baylor. Jones, a sophomore from Artesia, New Mexico. 330 yards per game passing. And he's on target to Cameron Kenny, who has an 11-yard gain on the first play from scrimmage for Oklahoma. He's come on the last couple of ball games with 6 catches in each of the last 2 for Oklahoma. DeMarco Murray can do it all. Broyles 118 catches. There's the offensive line. You have to be Evelyn Wood because of the pace at which Oklahoma plays. You're going to read all those names. They get right up over the line and snap it quickly. Kenny another catch. Lawrence Wilson drove him back.
And that's an important part, Sean. When you play Oklahoma, not only are you defending the team in front of you, you're defending the pace of the game. And that's something that they're going to have to get used to. Not only the players, but the coaching getting the calls in.
Good job by Landry Jones handling a knee-high snap. He gave it to DeMarco Murray, who's rushed for over 1,100 yards this season. And he has a first down at the Connecticut 48. Juan Martin, defensive tackle, made the stop. There's Josh Heupel, who is calling the plays for the first time tonight. Jones on target to Ryan Broyles, who has another first down. Near the UConn 34-yard line. Heupel was the quarterback coach since 2005. Kevin Wilson, who was the offensive coordinator, took the head coaching job at Indiana in early December. So Heupel and Jay Norvell are the co-offensive coordinators, but Heupel is calling the plays. Some wondered if they'd be able to play at that same pace and get into an early rhythm as Heupel tries to find his legs. Here's DeMarco Murray through a big hole. Another first down. 11 yards. Jerome Jr., the safety, made the tackle for Connecticut.
You're going to watch Ted Jennings, number 98, just gets up the field way too wide. He has to be able to squeeze that and force an edge, and he didn't do that. Murray took advantage of it.
Quick swing pass again to Ryan Broyles. He lowers his head. He's not a real big guy. They list him at 5'11". He told us the other day he's 187 pounds, but he is very strong. And you saw his strength there as he finished the run after the catch and got down near the 11-yard line.
Broyles is the guy who makes this offense go. And we can talk about DeMarco Murray inside and Stills on the outside, but this guy, he's the chain mover.
Randy Edsall said it was important for the underdog Huskies to get off to a good start. They're on their heels right now against this Oklahoma team, 4th in the nation in passing offense. Murray smothered for a loss. Ted Jennings in on the play, sophomore out of Dayton, Ohio.
Sean, if they're gonna win, they have to be physical up front, but it's more than just coming off the ball and being physical in the offensive line. They're gonna have to challenge these receivers. If they let these receivers run clean, they can't run with them. Broyles is faster, Stills is faster. They got to get up there and get their hands on people.
2nd and 12. They can get another first down just inside the 2-yard line. Huskies crowding the line of scrimmage, put pressure on Jones, who's on target to the 8-yard line. To Kenny Stills, the true freshman. That's his 54th catch of the year. That's the record for receptions by an Oklahoma freshman.
And that is a stud in the making. Kenny Stills has big-time speed, and he's sudden right off the ball.
Jones 5 for 5 on this opening drive. Oklahoma trying to deliver an early message, but they are not going to take this decided underdog Connecticut team lightly. Jones on the rollout, has a receiver, has a touchdown. James Hanna, the tight end, an 8-yard score.
Good call, well executed. Again, they're just using their speed. If they don't disrupt the receivers and they let them run free, that'll be ugly.
$70 yards in 9 plays in under 3 minutes. Jimmy Stevens adds the extra point. Landry Jones 6 for 6 on the opening drive for 56 yards and a touchdown. Caught by James Hanna, his 18th catch of the year, and 7 of them have gone for touchdowns. And welcome back to ESPN College Football's presentation of the 2011 Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Connecticut Huskies, a little more than 2,600 miles from their campus in Storrs, Connecticut. And the Oklahoma Sooners have made a trip of just more than 1,000 miles from Norman, Oklahoma. They're getting used to making these bowl trips. 44 bowl games now for Oklahoma, and this one's off to a good start. An opening touchdown drive. They ripped right through the Connecticut defense, which is the strength of the team. 9 plays, 70 yards against the UConn defense that gives up less than 20 points per game and is 23rd in the country in scoring defense.
Yeah, Sean, we talked about it. Just if you give those receivers that much room, they're going to eat them up. You have to disrupt the timing somehow, because Landry Jones gets rid of the ball too fast.
Patrick O'Hara down to the goal line, and Nick Williams. Better return this time out to the 27-yard line. Let's take a look at tonight's Taco Bell touchdown spotlight.
Well, this was going to be a pick if they needed to. Jerome Jr. right there. He's man-to-man on Hanna. Now, I want you to watch on the outside. That's Cameron Kenny. He's going to come down back inside. He's looking for this defender, Jerome Jr. And his job is just going to have to just kind of bump into him if he has to, but just kind of screen him. And that right there allows for the separation. Now, if he walks up on him and gets his hands on him, he would mess that timing up.
It's early, but this could be a very important drive for Connecticut. Zach Frazier going deep and way out of sync with Kashif Moore.
And he had Kashif Moore. Moore was able to get on top of that coverage. And you and I talked about this all week long. We've been here for a while, and we've been watching tape, and we've been talking about it. And
Zach Frazier, when the opportunity presents itself, and that was one of them, when Kashif Moore gets on top, he's got to be able to hit those throws. He has to.
He's been very inaccurate. Just 53% completions. Handoff inside to Jordan Todman. He's dropped for a loss. It'll be 3rd and long for Connecticut against this Oklahoma defense that features Jeremy Beal up front, the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year selected by the coaches. Austin Box has returned from injury to bolster a linebacking core. Lewis is the star of that group. And the cornerbacks have had a terrific season. Both of them first-year starters, Fleming and Hurst. They were a question mark at the beginning of the year. They've been solid throughout. 3rd and 12. Frazier flushed. Has his man as a first down. Oh, it's early, but that could be a big play to Ryan Griffin. Randy Edsel said we need to get off to a good start. We can't afford 3 and outs. They've already had a rough start, and they were on the verge of their second 3 and out if that play didn't happen.
Well, they blitzed the protection, and Griffin does a nice job of coming back to the ball and is able to get that first down.
A 14-yard gain. Now Todman. Clearly, Oklahoma is going to be keying on him all night long. Got very little there, but that's been the case all season long. The opponents of Connecticut know he's going to get the ball time and time again. The other teams load the box, and Connecticut still tries to run it.
And that's what's been so impressive about Jordan Todman. You know, they'll give you 8 men in the box, 9 men in the box at times, and he's still able to run for over 1,500 yards.
Only LaMichael James of Oregon has averaged more yards per game rushing this year than Jordan Todman. Frazier faked it to him. Goes over the middle to Michael Smith, and he's near another first down. Again, it depends on the spot. Tony Jefferson tripped him up. And it looks like they're going to mark it a little bit short of the first down.
And this is a crossing route, and this takes time to develop. And when that happens, you have to have protection. The offensive line for this UConn Husky team gave him protection there, and he was able to make that completion.
First catch for Smith. He's a junior from Houston, Texas. Todman following the fullback Sherman, and if he got it, it's just barely. It looks like this time they are going to get the spot that gives them a first down. Jay Strickers is the referee. The officials tonight are out of the Pac-10 conference, and we congratulate all of them. This is a reward for their fine work during the course of the season.
You know, Sean, one of the things this Oklahoma defense has done is they've used 2 fronts. They've used a 34 or an odd look, and they've also done a 4-3 look. And that was one of the concerns with UConn coming in, what they were going to get. And early on, they've been running a 3-4, and now they shift to a 4-3 look. 4 down linemen.
And this is just power against power here, and Oklahoma won that battle. It seemed like all 22 players on the field were right around the ball, and Jeremy Beal tripped up Jordan Todman.
Yeah, let's just look at just how many. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with a 10th back here. And that's the 10th guy is only 7 yards off the ball. Heck, sometimes linebackers are 7 yards off the ball.
3 receivers for UConn. Frazier, short throw, short gain, and Michael Smith took a big hit as he was driven back. Tony Jefferson, Jamel Fleming in on the play. Quentin Carter delivered that big hit, the outstanding senior safety from Las Vegas.
Nice job, and that's a nice hit. But what was even more impressive was that umpire was able to duck to get out of the way of that throw.
Well, in this day and age, you have to be careful if you're Quentin Carter not to be leading with the top of that helmet. He was a first-team All-American this year, Carter the safety. 3rd down and 8. Frazier plenty of time. Throws, and a nice catch made on a high throw by Kashif Moore. And a first down for Connecticut at the 39-yard line of Oklahoma after an 11-yard reception by the junior from Burlington, New Jersey.
This is exactly what UConn needed Zach Frazier to be. He's on. He's on, and this, when he's on, he's pretty good. He's got a big arm. Mechanics are his key. A lot of times he'll throw the locked front knee, and his ball comes off high.
David to Todman. Still struggling to find running room. He weaved his way for 3 before Jonathan Nelson made the tackle. Frazier was very highly recruited coming out of high school in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Started his college career, as a matter of fact, at Notre Dame. But he realized early on he was not going to get much of a chance to play. He was behind Jimmy Clausen. So he decided to transfer and came to Connecticut. One of his biggest wins of his career was at Notre Dame last year. Throw and catch to Griffin, the tight end, with another first down as Ryan made it to the 28-yard line. 11-yard gain. Austin Box made the tackle for Oklahoma.
Zach Frazier looks like he's back in the Pennsylvania Big 33 game, because he is on and he's seeing the field. And that time he read the blitz perfectly, and he was able to find him inside. Ryan on a nice throw right where it had to be. And that's exactly what the Husky team needed. They needed for Frazier to play his best.
And this is what they wanted as well, a ball control drive. Frazier, they want a flag in the secondary, and they're not going to get it. It looked like bodies were tangled. The intended receiver was Ryan Griffin with Quentin Carter right there. Randy Edsall well out on the field asking, where's the flag? Oh yeah, that's clearly a penalty.
Yeah. You know,
wow, how do you miss that?
He hooked him and he had him, but he missed it. But what's equally, now they missed that, but I'll tell you what I haven't missed. The UConn offensive line is giving great protection, and that's very good news for the Husky team.
Jordan Todman fights his way down to the 23. You know, it's interesting, when we spoke with Hank Hughes, the defensive coordinator for Connecticut yesterday, he said, we hope these officials are ex-defensive backs
yeah, exactly.
and not ex-quarterbacks, because we want to be physical with the Oklahoma wide receivers. So maybe it'll work both ways. When Hank Hughes' defense is out on the field, he hopes that they let his defenders do what Quentin Carter did. 14th play of the drive for Connecticut. 3rd down and 5. Again, that line does a great job giving protection, and Michael Smith did not appear to get the first down, and Randy Edsall will have a decision to make. Well, again, the official running in from the near side is very close to that yellow line. Jay Strickers might call for a measurement.
I put it on his left foot.
And that was a better spot for Randy Edsall this time.
Tell you what's been impressive is, you know, Zach Frazier's throwing the ball, but he's throwing it inside. And he is throwing it at right inside where those linebackers are. A lot of times these Oklahoma linebackers, they will bite. Now that was not play action that last time, but they'll take advantage of poor drops in the zone.
One of the big turning points in this Connecticut season, and they're inches short. They're in their 5-game winning streak. Connecticut had a home win against Pittsburgh, and Randy Edsall late in the game with a 2-point lead went for a 4th and 1 on his own 19-yard line and got it with around 2 minutes to go. It was November 11th, a home game in East Hartford. Randy with the decision to make his team up by 2. 4th and 1, their own 19. Jordan Todman got it. Connecticut wound up running the clock out. Randy celebrated. A win that was a huge part, because at the time it was Pittsburgh that had control of the Big East race. He's going for it again. On 4th and 1. Robbie Fry gets stacked up. He did not get it. Austin Box with a bunch of Sooner defenders.
Ironically, it was the same play that we just watched on the flashback. It was Zach Hurd pulling around with Robbie Fry instead of Jordan Todman carrying the ball.
Brent Venables, defensive coordinator, has to be pleased with the end of that drive. Although Connecticut held the ball and marched for a while, they come away with nothing as the 4th down attempt fails.
ESPN College Football, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, is brought to you by Tostitos, Lay's Classic, and Sun Chips. We make them natural. You make them fun. Chevrolet. Every model is backed by a 100,000-mile, 5-year powertrain limited warranty. Genworth Financial. And Allstate. Dollar for dollar. Nobody protects you like Allstate. Are you in good hands?
Still 7-0 Oklahoma. Connecticut drove, but they got stopped on a 4th down and less than a yard.
You're going to see Austin Box come over. Zach Hurd's going to pull around, but I want you to watch the safety drop down. That's Harris, 30 right there. Boom. He's the key. He made the first hit. He was the free hitter. He got his job done.
Landry Jones was passed a little bit behind Cameron Kenny, who made another nice catch. And it's a 1st down, and off go the Sooners again. Kenny, junior college transfer, last year had a problem with drop balls. He admitted he was nervous. He's settled in now as a senior. He's really been a big factor lately. DeMarco Murray ahead for 4. After the 12-yard completion, a 4-yard run by the 5th-year senior. Murray, who's playing in his first BCS game due to injuries in years gone by. He hasn't been able to stay healthy to be on the field for their previous BCS bowl games during his time in Norman.
And what a year he's had, not only running the football over 1,100 yards, but 69 receptions. They're not afraid to throw it to him anywhere on the field.
Under 3 minutes to go, first quarter. Murray spun around, but spun forward. It looks like he has the 1st down. C.O. Moore made the tackle.
I was expecting, now they come with a line stunt inside, but I was expecting a lot more physical front out of these down 4 people for UConn.
And they said they knew they had to be physical. They haven't been winning the physical battles up front, at least not yet. Murray, a tough run, fighting for every inch to the 50-yard line. A gain of 8. C.O. Moore and Jerome Jr. along for the ride finally got him down on the grass.
Just an outstanding job by the offensive line, and then Murray just refuses to go down.
Up quickly they come again, and Broyles run down by Scott Lutris, the senior Connecticut native from Brookfield, who has helped build his home state football program into one of the emerging powers now in the country. 4th straight bowl game for UConn. He's playing with a cast, as you see on his right hand. He has a screw in his right hand, injured late in the regular season, had surgery. 3rd down and 1 from just across midfield. Swing pass for Stills, has the 1st down and an extra yard or 2 before he skipped out at the 45 with Harris Agbor chasing him. 4 yards and a 1st down.
We continue to see a cushion. Now, Stills on the outside. He's probably the fastest guy on the field. But if you're going to continue to give them cushions all night long, it's not going to be pretty.
Landry Jones 9 for 9. Play action fake. He's looking deep and has a man wide open. Ryan Broyles inside the 20. Inside the 10 and leveled out of bounds by Lawrence Wilson at the 6-yard line. 1st and goal for Oklahoma.
Well, they come out in a bunch package. That's 3 receivers to one side. Broyles is on the outside. Now he's going to just come straight across the field. It's a long developing route, which means you have to have a lot of time, so good protection. And Jones is on target again.
39-yard gain. Now it's Moses Madu. We're back up tonight to DeMarco Murray. They're playing without Roy Finch, who had been the backup in recent weeks, a true freshman who's out with a foot injury suffered in practice between their last game and this game. So Madu, the senior, carried.
Yeah, right now, and there's Finch, and he is quick as a hiccup, that guy. But Madu's no slouch as well. And all of them will play well as long as their offensive line is playing the way they're playing right now. They're coming off the ball and they're winning the line of scrimmage.
Pistol look here. They've gone to that more and more as the year's gone along. Murray bounced off the pile and into the end zone. Touchdown, DeMarco Murray.
That time, UConn was able to hold it right here. That's well done. Okay, they take the initial thing away, but you have to hold your edge, and you have to keep leverage. And they didn't do it, and Murray bounces it into the end zone.
Two impressive drives for Oklahoma here in the first quarter, and Jimmy Stevens makes it 14-0. That one was 9 plays, 81 yards in 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Murray the touchdown. The 65th of his career, adding to his Oklahoma record. This telecast is available in high definition on ESPN HD and in 3D on ESPN 3D, brought to you by Sony. Had a chance during the ACC Championship to go over to our 3D booth. Here's a look at one of the interesting looking 3D cameras, the 2 lenses, and it really is something else. Have you seen a football game in 3D?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it, but I got to say this, Sean, whether it's in 2D or 3D, heck, you can make it 4D. It doesn't look good tonight for UConn. Now, that guy looks good in any D, especially against this D. He's been running well.
Well, they've had it twice. They've scored twice. Oklahoma's averaging 8.5 yards per snap. Nick Williams will return to Patrick O'Hara. Kickoff from the 4. And that's 3 kickoffs well covered by Oklahoma. Sam Proctor again in on the tackle for the Sooner special teams. Tonight's aerial coverage is being provided by the MetLife Blimp. See how MetLife can provide the coverage you need. Start building your personal safety net with MetLife today. Been chilly here in Phoenix the last several days. Hasn't gotten above 50 degrees. Temperature down in the high 20s at night. And it's cool inside this building as well. The roof is closed for the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Zach Frazier on first down, in trouble and dumped. Ronell Lewis brought him down back at the 16-yard line for a 5-yard loss. Actually, where they're marking it, it looks more like a 7-yard loss now, and that'll be the last play of the first quarter. A quarter controlled by Oklahoma. Big plays on offense and defense, and a 14-0 lead. Welcome back to the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Connecticut and Oklahoma. Oklahoma started playing football back in 1895. Connecticut started in 1896, but for most of their history they were a 1AA program, fully up to FBS football in 2002. They were in a transitional year in 2000 and 2001, got to the 85 scholarships in 02. And given that their relative upstart, they've done very well, but certainly nowhere near the tradition and history of Oklahoma. Few schools could match what Oklahoma's done with 7 national championships and 5 Heisman Trophy winners.
Well, Randy Edsall, right there on your left, has done just a fantastic job with this program. And I think he's one of the really good coaches in all of college football. But Bob Stoops, he's no slouch either. He's taken that program there and taking it to national championships and BCS games, and he's been playing for national championships. So both these two very good coaches.
Bob Stoops was 38 when he was hired. He's 50 years old now. Both of these coaches look younger than their age. Randy Edsall is 52. Jordan Todman stopped for no gain. Here's Heather Cox.
Guys, they're playing on natural grass out here, and you'll notice it's already pretty chewed up. Oklahoma learned a valuable lesson in a bowl game in this stadium against West Virginia in that loss. They didn't test the surface. They had about 15 players changing their cleats after the first drive. So about 3 hours before today, Jay Norville was out here testing the grass, said it felt slippery and soft. It was ripping up, so he had them change from molded cleats to spiked screw-in cleats to get a little bit better leverage, better plants out here.
3rd down and 17. Frazier stepped up into the pocket and threw incomplete in the direction of Michael Smith. With Travis Lewis in coverage, junior linebacker out of San Antonio, their leading tackler on the year. And he's also good in coverage. He has 8 career interceptions. That's the most of any linebacker in school history.
Travis Lewis has had a good year all from the beginning of the season all the way through. Runs very well, pretty physical.
Cole Wagner to punt. Redshirt freshman from York, Pennsylvania. Line drive kick. Brian Broyles watches it bounce, decides to get away from it. And it's down by UConn near the 35-yard line. 49-yard punt. James from Oregon is the nominee for the AT&T All-American Player of the Year. James rushed for 1,682 yards and 21 touchdowns for the Ducks this season. Text vote to 345-345 from your mobile phone to vote for a chance to win a trip to the Tostitos BCS National Championship game right here at University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, 10 days from now.
Boy, is he exciting. That guy is, and he is lightning. He is fun to watch.
This offense for Oklahoma has been fun to watch. They've already run 18 plays from scrimmage. Have had the ball less than 6.5 minutes. Trey Franks, the true freshman, took the handoff across the formation. Went for 4 to the 40-yard line. Well, they're trying to end that 5-game BCS Bowl losing streak. And they're off to a good start. Quick toss again to Franks the other way, and he's flattened by Lawrence Wilson, the leading tackler in the Big East for the 2nd year in a row.
Wilson made
senior playing his last game.
Yeah, and a nice tackle, and Scott Lutris, the other senior, he missed the tackle, but he missed it the right way, made him turn back inside, and Wilson was able to finish the deal. Sets up this 3rd down.
And 4. Landry Jones is 12 for 12 passing. Movement, but Connecticut got back. Jones dumps it over the middle, intercepted. Dwayne Gratz has nothing but grass in front of him. Touchdown, Connecticut.
Sean, they finally walked up on the receivers and disrupted the timing. And Gratz comes up with a big play and takes it back for 6.
That's what turned their season around for Connecticut. They had 17 takeaways in the last 5 games of the regular season, all of them wins. That's their 20th interception of the year and the 5th. But they've returned for a touchdown this season. Dave Teggart, the extra point. And just when it looked like Oklahoma might turn it into an early rout, Randy Edsall got the big play he needed from his defense. 46-yard return by Dwayne Gratz, the sophomore from Piscataway, New Jersey. It's 14-7.
ESPN College Football, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, is brought to you by Tostitos Lay's Classic and Sun Chips. We make them natural. You make them fun. The all-new 100% reinvented Ford Explorer. Drive one. AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network, period. The Touchdown Big Box, only at Taco Bell. And Bud Light, it's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
The Connecticut fans fully engaged now. Dwayne Gratz, the interception and 46-yard return for a touchdown. Randy Edsall said the key to the 5-game winning streak to close the regular season, aggressive defense and creating turnovers. They won the last regular season game against South Florida to get to the BCS Tostitos Fiesta Bowl on a pick 6 by Lawrence Wilson at South Florida in their regular season finale. No chance for Moses Madu to bring back Chad Christian's kickoff.
Well, first they challenge him. They walk up and they play tight coverage. But watch Jerome Jr. right here. And Hannah, 82. Remember earlier they tried to pick Jerome Jr. and Hannah scored. This time, because he gets a jam right here and forces Hannah back, that messes the route up. And the throw by Jones is right where Stills should have been. Instead, it's Gratz who takes it back for 6.
Well, Landry Jones, who started 12 for 12, still hasn't had a throw hit the ground. Now he's 1 for 1 to Connecticut defenders. Ryan Broyles the catch on a 6-yard gain. Lady Ray Wilson chased him out. And man, when we spoke with Bob Stoops about the common denominators during this BCS Bowl losing streak, he said turnovers, penalties, inability to run the ball. Those have been the recurring themes, and there's a turnover, and a costly one relatively early in this game for Oklahoma. DeMarco Murray in trouble and did not return to the line of scrimmage. Good penetration by A.J. Portee. We have some backup defensive linemen in there. There are the numbers from those 5 bowl games, all of them losses. 7.5 penalties per game and nearly 3 turnovers per game. Bob Stoops would make the argument too, not enough credit given to the opponents. Boise State was an outstanding team that made some great plays.
They're tightening up again, Sean.
And West Virginia was about to play for the national championship game before they lost the regular season finale and wound up here. Here's a catch by Broyles. And a big 3rd down conversion for Oklahoma. Harris Agbor banged him out of bounds, but that's a 34-yard gain for the junior from Norman, Oklahoma. Ryan Broyles, his 6th catch, and he's already over 100 yards.
Well, he's trying to take away the inside, and then he went for the ball. His eyes went back. Broyles is one of those guys. He's just a good football player. He's not real quick. He's not real fast. He just has a great combination.
Receiver wide open, and Cameron Kenny lunged and couldn't get it. The throw a little bit too long from Landry Jones. The play action set it up, and that was 6 if they executed.
Well, he missed him, and that's one they're going to want back. He's wide open. They're going to go back and watch his tape. He's just going to make himself sick as he just runs right by Gratz. Gets to the middle of the field. There's nobody back there. That was 6 points.
And the pistol look for Oklahoma. Jones with a blitz coming. A high throw, and the catch by Stills, and he can fly. He fumbled and got it back. Harris Agbor knocked it out. And Stills was alert to get on it quickly and got a fortunate bounce as well. And Oklahoma has a 1st down at the 20-yard line on a 20-yard gain.
That's just awful by Bleedy Ray Wilson, number 5, the corner. But a good job of getting the ball out by Agbor right there. He strips it.
And Oklahoma's been great this year protecting the ball. They're plus 14 coming in turnover margin, 7th best in the country. Another fake by Jones and a high throw over the head of Broyles. Matter of fact, these are 2 of the best teams in the country. Oklahoma came in at plus 14 in turnover margin, and Connecticut was plus 12. And we mentioned Connecticut took off the last 5 games of the year. They were even for the season in turnover margin. Heading into the last 5 games of the year, plus 12 in the last 5. That'll get you a 5-game winning streak. DeMarco Murray taken down back at the 23 by Scott Lutris.
And they brought him on a blitz off the edge. They had him walk down in the slot, and right before you can see him starting to creep in at the top of your screen. And then he just keeps on coming. He's unaccounted for. Makes the tackle.
Officially a loss of 4. 3rd and 14. Looked like Connecticut might have been offside. It's a screen to DeMarco Murray. I don't see a flag on the play, and Murray's down to the line of scrimmage. Good reaction by Twan Martin and Dwayne Gratz. Landry Jones asking Jay Strickers. I think he thought Connecticut was offside too.
Well, there's one thing about possibly being offside, another thing about blocking a guy. That would help.
Well, here comes Jimmy Stevens. Austin Woods, the snapper. John Nemo, the holder. Stevens has been accurate, but this would match his long 42-yarder. And that is accurate, and it is good. Officially a 41-yard field goal. 1 yard shy of his longest of the season for the junior from Oklahoma City. 9:57 to go in the first half. 17-7 Sooners. Allstate is celebrating its 6th year sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets. Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. To date, Allstate has contributed more than $2.4 million in scholarship monies. Just under 10 minutes to go, first half. 40th Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, part of Capital One Bowl Week. Sean McDonough, Matt Millen, Heather Cox, delighted to have you with us for Connecticut and Oklahoma. Patrick O'Hara will kick off. O'Hara was a soccer player in high school, never played football. Started kicking footballs as a hobby. Wound up trying out for the Oklahoma team. Walked on and made it. First game he was ever in was in college. Nick Williams brought his kickoff back to the 29-yard line. Tuesday night, ESPN delivers the Allstate Sugar Bowl. Terrell Pryor will play with the 6th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. They face Ryan Mallett and 8th-ranked Arkansas. The Allstate Sugar Bowl Tuesday night on ESPN. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern. It's also available on ESPN Radio. As a matter of fact, Matt and I will be there for the radio call. And online at ESPN3.com on your phone. All kinds of ways to access the Allstate Sugar Bowl. Zach Frazier out of the gun, handed it off to Jordan Todman, and again he finds very little running room. Slid forward to the 32 for a pickup of 3.
One thing that's happened here for the Oklahoma Sooners is they've been able to handle the run game with really their first 7 with the 7-man box. And so for Connecticut, what that means is they're going to have to be able to put a little more trust into Zach Frazier's hands. They came into this thing thinking they want to run the football and not lean heavy on the pass game. At this point, they're going to have to do it.
Frazier on target to Kashif Moore, who circled back to the 36-yard line. Travis Lewis, the tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
And Frazier's been well protected. He's been throwing the ball well. And he still has a tendency to lock that front knee when he throws. And a lot of times that, like I said earlier, that makes the ball come off high. But he's been pretty accurate. In fact, on that last series, he had a pretty good throw into Smith. Smith looked like he just backed off the play.
Connecticut averages 145 yards per game passing. That's 112th in the country. They're not set up to be a throwing team. Frazier, tough to tell if it was a design run. I think it was, and he got the first down. He's a big body, 6'4", 231 pounds. And they convert. Stacy McGee, the tackle for Oklahoma.
Well, he gets the first, so it's an effective deal. They did a nice job of opening the middle. He didn't quite get to where the opening was, but he did manage to get the first down.
Randy Edsall told Zach Frazier after he was yanked as the starter in game 4 of the year, "You're going to be 3rd string. Don't know if you'll play again, but stay ready." Zach Frazier said, "I prayed every night I'd get another chance." He did, and he led them to 5 straight wins and into their first BCS bowl game. Jordan Todman to the 42 for a gain of 3.
You know, when you watch Oklahoma defense, you put the tape on. The guy who just jumps off is Quincy Carter. And here's a kid. He's a physical guy. Quentin Carter, rather. I'm sorry. And he's a physical guy. He's down in the box. He's got good range. He can get to all the points for the throws. This kid's going to he'll be playing on Sunday afternoons.
Terrific person as well, part of the Football Coaches Association Good Works team for his work in the community. Screen to Todman, and he's down at the 46, tripped up by Travis Lewis. Lewis trying to become just the 6th Oklahoma player to lead their team in tackles for 3 straight seasons. In a narrow lead this year. coming in with 99 tackles, one more than Jonathan Nelson. There's a flag down.
Illegal substitution on the offense. 12 players in the offensive formation longer than 3 seconds. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
It's the first penalty against either team tonight.
Well, that was the right call by the official. Griffin wasn't able to get out in time, and you get catching an earful on the sideline.
It's another one of those things that you can't afford when you're a big underdog and you're offensively challenged, as UConn is. 3rd and 9. Frazier given time, and he's almost intercepted. Tough to tell to whom that was intended, because it was right into the lap of Jonathan Nelson.
Looked like he was trying to throw it to Nick Williams. It was well protected, but it wasn't even close.
Tony Jefferson looked like he tipped it. Nelson went diving for it, didn't get it. Randy Edsall said that's been the big problem with their passing. They're just not accurate enough, consistently enough. They really don't seem to have many playmakers at the wide receiver positions either. Here's Cole Wagner to punt. That's a good one. Ryan Broyles from the 8. He weaves his way out to the 26. 52-yard punt, 17-yard return.
I'm Jesus Rogers. Here's what's happening on SportsCenter right now. According to several reports, Charlie Weis will become the Florida Gators' new offensive coordinator. However, Weis is expected to stay with Kansas City through their playoff run. And the University of Pittsburgh has fired head football coach Mike Haywood. This a day after he was arrested on a domestic violence charge. Now back to Glendale and the Fiesta Bowl.
Well, that certainly is a sad story there.
Yeah, that's a shame. He's gonna have to. They did the right thing, and he's to separate the two. He's a good football coach, but that's intolerable.
A lot of assistant coaches affected by that as well. Landry Jones comes out slinging to Kenny Stills, and he gets belted out of bounds by Bleedy Ray Wilson. Here's Heather.
Sean, the Connecticut defense continues to be concerned with Oklahoma's quick tempo. Before the defense took the field, Hank Hughes told them Oklahoma's getting up on the ball so fast, you've got to be sharp on your blitzes, be crisp. Then he reminded them, I don't want to see any illegal substitution calls. Get down, get set, something to watch for.
Marco Murray tripped up. Good tackle in space by Bleedy Ray Wilson, the sophomore cornerback from Edinburgh, Pennsylvania. You know, Hank Hughes told us, man, we play against teams that go fast, in West Virginia, Cincinnati in recent years, but Oklahoma's at warp speed. They're unlike any other of these hurry-up teams that you see.
Yeah, and you know what Heather was talking about, and that pace, that's what we were talking about at the beginning of the game. You have to defend against the pace, and that's one of the things. Personnel and the play calls coming in become more difficult.
Landry Jones on 1st and 10 has Ryan Broyles trying to find running room, got away from Scott Lutris, and is tackled by Jesse Joseph near the first down marker.
One of the things we talked about, Landry Jones, is hard to get to because of the quick release. Now he has good protection, and he can see the whole field, and that ball comes out fast, which makes blitzing him even tougher.
2nd and 1. DeMarco Murray has the first down to the 49-yard line. Lawrence Wilson made the tackle with help from Lutris, and you can tell Lutris is frustrated about having that cast on his right hand. On the previous play, couldn't make the tackle, and he shook his right arm into the air. Landry Jones on the rollout, on target. Kenny Stills, almost 10 more.
One of the other things that the fast pace does to you defensively is it limits what defenses you can get in. A lot of times you end up just in one, maybe two different calls, and when that happens, and when that offense knows that you're going to be in that same call, and they can eat you alive. They can anticipate things, and they see it fast.
2nd and 1. Josh Heupel's done a nice job with the play calling tonight. A good blend of run and pass. Movement again along the line. No flags. And DeMarco Murray has the first down. Ryan Broyles said sometimes defensive players on their team say to him, hey, could you guys slow down? I'm getting tired. And you can understand why they would. Oklahoma entering this game had run 1,131 offensive plays. More than 1,100. 1,131. No other team in the country had even run 1,000 offensive plays. That's how much faster they go.
It's an avalanche.
Murray breaks a couple of tackles, and Lawrence Wilson will wrestle him to the ground with help. There's Josh Heupel, just 32 years old. Quarterback who led them to a national championship in 2000. Bob Stoops' second year, and Josh was the runner-up to Chris Weinke for the Heisman Trophy. Whoa, Jones lost the snap, and he's in trouble. And down for a loss back at the 36.
I don't know. As you look at Josh Heupel there, I don't know what's a quicker pace, this Oklahoma offense or how fast he's chewing that gum. They might be going just as fast as he is chomping that stuff.
If you want to go at the pace, you have to get the plays in fast. And they wondered about the mechanics of that as well. But so far, that end of the operation seems to have gone flawlessly. And probably not in field goal range here, so a big 3rd down and 8. From the 36-yard line, 3.5 to go till the half. Oklahoma's dominated, but right now still just a 10-point lead. Jones steps into his throw, has his man Cameron Kenny for a 1st down to the 26-yard line.
Dwayne Gratz was right there, but that ball is thrown exactly where it has to be. Watch the break. He throws it to the outside. Nice throw, nice catch.
10-yard gain. Oklahoma's 4 for 6 on 3rd down. Kenny 4 catches already after 6 in each of the last 2 games. Jones deep toward the end zone, too high and almost intercepted. Lady Ray Wilson put his hands up. The intended receiver was Kenny Stills.
Landry Jones, we talked about him at the start of the game, about how quick that ball comes out. It makes him tough to have to blitz and rush the passer because he sees things fast and the ball comes out fast. The thing that's impressive about him is he's accurate. Now he missed this last one, but there aren't going to be very many of them. This is an accurate thrower.
Already 24 pass attempts, 3 minutes to go in the half. Attempt 25 on target to Kenny, breaks a tackle, spins inside the 10-yard line. Trevardo Williams ran him down. 1st and goal, Oklahoma.
Well, watch the quick throw. Set up, bang, ball comes out. Now he has liked this matchup all night long. Yes, there's a huge cushion. He's playing in off coverage. Kenny's eating that up outside.
DeMarco Murray ran into Jesse Joseph. It'll be 2nd and goal. No gain on the play.
What we really haven't seen yet out of this Oklahoma offense is when they throw the ball to DeMarco Murray. He's got 70 catches himself for 69. He's a very good receiver out of the backfield.
There are 2 losses, both on the road at Missouri and Texas A&M. They had trouble in the red zone. Jones throws it away.
That's just poor by that guy standing there by the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. He had a chance to make a catch against the wall, dropped it. That's just poor by him. He had a chance.
Another chance. I mean, the likelihood of him being the intended receiver again is very slim.
Well, he did. He came down with it.
You want to take it back?
I'll take it back.
To him?
You look scared, but at least you made the catch.
14th play of the possession. Jones letting the clock run down. They don't want to leave Connecticut with time here. Time's not an issue for them.
Timeout. University of Oklahoma. Timeout.
Sooners called a timeout, leaving them with 2. Coming up at the half, stay tuned for the Chevrolet halftime report. Here, John Saunders and Jesse Palmer with a nice view from the back of the end zone here at University of Phoenix Stadium. What a facility this is, the home of the Arizona Cardinals of the National Football League. There are the numbers. They have not been great in the red zone. 86th in the country this year. 2 out of 3 tonight. Third down and goal from the 8-yard line out of the timeout. Landry Jones looking for help from the sideline.
Well, he's like Cameron Kenny here tonight, and he's got a matchup out there on the top, right up here.
3 receivers to the left. Kenny was the only one to the right. Jones throws in that direction too high for Kenny with Dwayne Gratz in coverage. Oklahoma has outgained Connecticut by 207 yards, but right now it's just a 10-point lead and the field goal team comes on.
Yeah, that's pretty well played by Gratz. He's playing off coverage. He took away the inside and forced him to go one way, and then he was able to get that inside hand in and disrupt the ball.
Jimmy Stevens. He was a big part of their surge to the Big 12 South title. Made 4 field goals at Oklahoma State in the game they had to have. Low line drive, but it's good. And he's 2 for 2 tonight. It's 20-7. Oklahoma with 2:05 to go in the half. Monday night, ESPN delivers the Discover Orange Bowl. 2 of the top quarterbacks in the nation face off. Pac-10 Player of the Year Andrew Luck leads the Stanford Cardinal against the ACC Player of the Year Tyrod Taylor and the Virginia Tech Hokies. It's the Discover Orange Bowl Monday night on ESPN with coverage beginning at 8 Eastern. And that's also available on ESPN Radio and online, ESPN3.com, and on your phone. What a great season for Andrew Luck and the Stanford Cardinals.
Well, very, very physical Stanford team, offensively and defensively. Andrew Luck, he's NFL ready right now. I think Harbaugh's done a fantastic job, but boy, Tyrod Taylor, the way he finished this season, and Ryan Williams, the way they run the football, and good defense, and that's going to be a really good football game. I'm looking forward to that one.
Great comeback by Virginia Tech after losing their first 2 games. They've won 11 games in a row. Nick Williams brings the kickoff back. Has a hole. Can he stay in bounds? He's taken down by the kicker, Patrick O'Hara, at the 43-yard line. 33-yard return by Williams, one of the best kickoff return men in the country.
And he's fearless, and he's not afraid. He just runs right in to the middle of the coverage, but he does a nice job of avoiding everybody except the kicker.
He's averaged 42 yards per kickoff return. That would lead the country, but he only has 11 returns. He's 1 shy of the minimum you need to be eligible. Well, UConn down by 2 scores, and Frazier's lucky that wasn't a pick 6 by Travis Lewis.
Travis Lewis read it the whole way. He read it. He eyeballed the quarterback. Watch his eyes. He'll take his drop, and his eyes are back inside. Now he sees it. He saw it before anybody. Zach Frazier was eyeballing Griffin, the tight end, and Lewis eyeballed Frazier. Great play, would have been a pick.
Travis had a big interception in the Big 12 championship win against Nebraska. He recovered 2 fumbles in that game. Jordan Todman finally shakes loose and goes out of bounds at the 37-yard line, chased out by Jamel Fleming. Longest run of the night for Todman, 19 yards.
Watch the feet inside. It's just a strong runner, and then once he's able to bounce it, he's smart enough to be able to get outside and stop the clock.
He had 14 yards for the game prior to that 19-yard run. He's run for at least 80 in every game this year. Frazier zings one, caught, first down, 25-yard line. Isaiah Moore, the junior from Cambridge, Massachusetts. Demontre Hurst, the tackle. They'll go quickly. They have all 3 timeouts left.
And again, good protection right here. They're on a little bit of roll. Ball's right where it has to be.
Inside handoff to Todman. He got banged down after a 1-yard gain by Frank Alexander and Jeremy Beal. And the clock runs. Randy Edsel isn't going to use a timeout yet. Plenty of time. Three wide receivers. Sometimes they just spread you out to run it with Todman. Not here. Blitz. Frazier got it off to Michael Smith, who could not get away from Jamel Fleming. Gain to the 20-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and 5. I think one of the reasons Randy Edsall doesn't want to use a timeout, Matt, you don't want to leave any time on the clock for Oklahoma with as quickly as they can go up and down the field.
He gets his first down, he'll use a timeout.
They are in field goal range for Dave Taggart. They haven't been a great 3rd down team this year. Another blitz. Frazier given time by the line, lofts it out, and it is too long for Kashif Moore.
Well, Moore is able to get on top. He beat the safety and the corner. You're going to watch him, number 6 on the top right there. Now he wins. He's on top. The safety can't get there. That's a throw you have to make. A tough throw, but he's got to make it.
Speaking of got to make it, that was the situation facing Dave Taggart a couple of times this year. He kicked a 52-yarder in the regular season finale with 17 seconds to go against South Florida to win the game and get them to the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. 37-yard try here, and it is good. His 51st career field goal, adding to his UConn record. Junior from Northborough, Massachusetts. And he's a big reason why they're here. Had a game-winning overtime field goal to beat West Virginia in the last game of the regular season. He had kicked a 50-yarder earlier in the 4th quarter. This from 52 to win it. And what a moment that was. Randy Edsall hugging his 18-year-old son Corey, a high school senior. And when your team like Connecticut that kind of lives on the edge, very little margin for error, it helps to have a good kicker because you're going to be in a lot of close games. And I think if you've been watching this game throughout the half, Matt, you have to be surprised that it's only a 10-point game because Oklahoma feels like they have dominated this game from start to finish.
Well, and they should, because they have, and they've done just about everything right. Now, the two things that did happen was you had the pick 6 that took it back the other way, and then they were able to stop them down here in the red zone 2 times and held them to field goals. So that's the good news for Connecticut.
They didn't score an offensive touchdown in that win at South Florida. They had a defensive touchdown and 3 field goals, 4 field goals. Good coverage by Anthony Sherman, who took down Moses Madu shy of the 20 at about the 17-yard line. Just 109 yards of offense. And Oklahoma's gone up and down the field. The defense for Connecticut's forced a couple of Oklahoma field goals.
Well, I think the one piece of good news, I think Zach Frazier's throwing the football pretty well. And I think if they're going to have to trust him a little bit more here in the second half. And if he can deliver, that'll be good news for the Connecticut Huskies because he's been throwing the ball pretty well.
Yeah, they're in the football game. Oklahoma will get the ball first to begin the second half. Landry Jones threw for 233 and a touchdown, but he also threw the costly interception that was returned for the only UConn touchdown of the game. Here's Heather Cox with Bob Stoops.
Coach, your team made a statement early. What was the key to your quick 14-0 start?
Well, execution, guys. Run and pass. We're executing well offensively. Defensively, we came up with some stops. You know, but then, you know, you give up a big kickoff return and an interception for a touchdown, lets them hang around.
What's the biggest puzzle you need to solve in the second half to get the win?
Well, just keep doing what we're doing. You know, keep executing and play good run defense and offense, take care of the football.
We'll let you get to your team. Thanks, Coach. Sean?
All right, Heather, thank you. Halftime score, the 2011 Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, Oklahoma 20 and Connecticut 10. Stay tuned for John and Jesse and the Chevrolet halftime report right after these messages.
We rise and fall together. Our hearts still beat below. Oh, you can't stand by forever. You're a kid with the bullet soul. Are you ready to go? Are you ready to go? Are you ready to go? Are you ready to go?
Welcome back to ESPN's presentation of the 2011 Tostitos Fiesta Bowl from Glendale, Arizona, University of Phoenix Stadium. Oklahoma and Connecticut doing battle in football for the first time, and at the half, the Sooners have a 10-point lead. And we welcome you back, Sean McDonough, along with Matt Millen. The song asked, "Are you ready to go?" Oklahoma was ready to go. They came out firing, stormed to a 14-0 lead. And Landry Jones was very sharp.
Landry Jones was the key, but not to be outdone. Their defense took away Jordan Todman. That was number one. But Landry Jones, he came out throwing. We talked about his quick release. He was well protected. He was able to field and see the whole field, which he did. He did it early. He did it often. He scored on a variety of different ways. And then when he finally got pressure, he threw the pick to Gratz, which gave UConn their 6 points. But Landry Jones, only 6 incompletions in the first half and 233 yards.
He's already had 12 games of 300 yards or more passing in just 23 starts. Randy Edsall's team will kick off. Their biggest challenge will be see if they can get Jordan Todman going in the running game in the second half when they have the football. Chad Kristen will kick off. Trey Franks back deep along with Moses Madu, and the second half is underway. Trey Franks, the true freshman, right up the middle, ran into his own man, stayed on his feet and got to the 23. Here's Heather Cox.
Sean, Randy Edsall told his team at halftime that defensively they've got to be more aggressive, especially in the secondary. They're being much too tentative. Offensively, the things they need to work on: run better. The way they're going to do that: pass the ball, use more play action. I also talked to Coach Edsall about the emotion and the reaction when Kashif Moore put on Jasper Howard's jersey in the locker room. He said it was emotional, it was uplifting. That emotion needs to carry over into the second half for the Huskies to pull off the upset.
Chief Moore, if you joined us late, ordinarily number 82 wearing the number 6 in honor of Jasper Howard, the UConn defensive back who was murdered last year. Would have been a senior playing in his final game here tonight. DeMarco Murray got nothing on first down for Oklahoma. Chief Moore, one of Jasper Howard's best friends, put on that number 6 when they went back into the locker room after they came out on the field for warm-ups. It was a surprise. Only Randy Edsall, Chief Moore, and their equipment staff knew about it ahead of time. Landry Jones throws to Lutris, and you can see he was aggressive on that receiver right there with Ryan Broyles to stop it for relatively short gain.
The big third down right here for this Connecticut Husky defense. Remember, when they've had success, they've challenged these receivers, and you heard Heather talking about that, and they're walking up now.
Oklahoma 4 out of 7 on third down tonight. The best third down team in the Big 12 this year. 44% for the year. The rush handle, the throw too high and almost intercepted. It's thrown for Ryan Broyles, but Gary Wilburn, who comes in nickel and dime situations, had the best shot at it.
But Wilburn walked up and had the coverage, and he forces him one way, which is nice. Take away the inside, force a throw to the outside. Not a good throw by Landry. Landry Jones misses this. This should have been picked.
This will be the first punt of the night for Oklahoma for Tress Way, the left footer, who can boom them. Averaging better than 44 yards per kick. Had an 85-yard punt earlier this year. Short and wobbly and bouncing sideways out of bounds. That wasn't his best. Line of scrimmage will be the 34-yard line, just a 34-yard punt. So now Zach Frazier. Not huge numbers, but he threw 1 or 2 other balls that might have been caught and could have helped him improve on the 10 for 16 for 73.
Yeah, his receivers are going to have to help him. And what Heather was talking about, what Randy Edsall said about going to play action, well, they need to run the football before you can do any kind of play action. They're not going to honor any kind of play action threat if you're not running the ball.
See Frazier looking toward the sideline. They've gone to more of that during the year. See if the coaches want to help change the play. Jordan Todman breaks tackles. He had one run of 19 yards late in the half, and that was about it. He finished the first half with 34 yards. That's 9 more for the junior, likely playing in his last game for Connecticut. In all likelihood, will throw his name in for the NFL.
Yeah, and I talked to him about that, and he says he has his mind made up. He knows what he wants to do, and if he takes his talents to the next level, the one talent that's going to help him the most is his patience. He's a very patient runner. He's got good feet inside. Doesn't have exceptional speed, but he comes up with the yards when they're not there.
2nd and 2. Patience there. And bounced around the corner for a first down. It helped UConn in a variety of ways. If he can get it going, they'll fare better on offense and keep that Oklahoma offense off the field.
You know, John Riggins used to always talk about this, the great Hall of Fame running back. It's called runner's patience. And you just have to let things develop and then believe what's going on in front of you. He does that well.
Look out, Travis Lewis on a blitz, and Frazier threw it up for grabs, almost intercepted by DeMondre Hurst, who had better position for the ball than Michael Smith.
Well, Lewis brings the pressure. He should have just thrown this thing away. He took a chance trying to get it back inside. But he has more all over. Now he can't see him wide open because here comes the pressure.
Travis Lewis told us he thought the Sooners would be ready to go tonight. They're tired of this and hearing about this BCS Bowl losing streak. Said everybody is fully in tonight. Jordan Taubman carries for a short game. Travis Lewis said he thinks in previous years maybe some guys didn't take the bowl game seriously enough, the opponent seriously enough. Other guys might have had one foot in the NFL. Ryan Broyles didn't agree with that. Ryan Broyles said he thinks that NFL thing is just an excuse. When you're out on the field, you're not thinking about anything else but competing.
I agree with Ryan Broyles. If you're not ready to play, that doesn't say too much for the next level, because you got to be ready to play every week at an extremely high level.
Huskies 4 out of 9 on 3rd down from midfield. 3rd and 9. Frazier zips one into traffic. Tony Jefferson broke it up. It was intended for Kashif Moore. Quentin Carter also there.
Quentin Carter's always there. You throw to the middle of the field, Quentin Carter's always going to be there. And at that time, Frazier, he put some mustard on him. And he tried to force it into a really small window, and that window got closed because Carter was where he had to be.
Here's Cole Wagner to the punt. And each team has had the ball once, and each will have punted once in the first 3 minutes of the second half. Orioles will let it go. A good decision. It'll come out to the 20. 20-10 Oklahoma, just underway in the second half here at the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Tonight's telecast is also available in 3D on ESPN 3D, brought to you by Sony. And there are fans right here outside the stadium. We're at a Bud Light viewing party, experiencing the latest technology firsthand. And if you haven't, try to find a way to get that done. Those are not 3D, I don't think.
That looks like a bad Elvis, Oklahoman Elvis.
They've traveled pretty well here. There's a lot of talk about ticket sales, but just about every seat we can see is filled. Landry Jones fires a little high, and it was Dwayne Gratz who had a pick six earlier, got a hand on it. And there's a look at the crowd. There were a lot of conversations about neither one of the schools sold all of their 17,500 tickets, but fans have found other places to go to get the tickets, and sometimes they're cheaper when you go to some of these ticket agencies than they are if you go through the schools. DeMarco Murray stuffed, and this UConn defense here at the beginning of the second half much more aggressive than it was in the first half. That time it was C.O. Moore, the sophomore from Apex, North Carolina.
Yeah, C.O. Moore, number 46 on the inside, and then Scott Luchas also is right in the middle of that thing as well.
And they force a 3-and-out. Under duress, Jones has his man. Broyles, first down and much more. Still fighting all the way to the 41-yard line. 20-yard gain and a big play as we look at it from our DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam.
Well, they brought pressure and they got pressure. And then as Jones rolls to his right, the guy who falls down and beats him is Gary Wilburn, number 21.
And now they have Kenny wide open. Cameron Kenny, touchdown, Oklahoma.
Well, that didn't take long. He gets on top of the safety, Akbar, number 25. Stayed in bounds the whole way. Nicely done. He's had a nice night the whole night, Sean. They've gone to him often, and he's responded.
Yeah, they really seem to catch UConn off balance with a very quick snap after the 20-yard gain to Broyles. 59 yards to Kenny. Jimmy Stevens the extra point. Well, it looked like it might be a 3-and-out. Instead, it's a 4-play, 80-yard touchdown drive. Cameron Kenny, the senior, having a big night for the Sooners, who have their largest lead of this Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
ESPN College Football, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, is brought to you by Tostitos Lay's Classic and Sun Chips. We make them natural. You make them fun. Progressive Insurance. Visit progressive.com. DirecTV. Don't just watch TV. DirecTV. And Nissan, proud partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Back at University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, Oklahoma has taken a 17-point lead on a 59-yard touchdown pass from Landry Jones to Cameron Kenny. It's the third longest pass play in Oklahoma bowl game history. And Tress Way will kick off. Bouncing to Nick Williams. Tried to get to the sideline and was run down. Aaron Colvin and Corey Nelson in on the tackle. Let's look at tonight's good hands play brought to you by Allstate.
One of the things we talked about with this offense, you have to defend the pace. And so everything's faster. And one of the things that it does is it creates confusion defensively. And sometimes you don't get the call to everybody. This is what it looks like it's supposed to happen. But they let Kenny go completely. Watch Akbar, the safety, he's down here. Whoops. And that's either a bad angle or half the defense didn't get the right call. Whatever it is, the good hands on the end of Kenny gives them 6 points.
And again, that very fast pace engineered by Landry Jones can lead to mistakes like that by the defense. Kashif Moore, good run after the catch. Finally shoved out by Quentin Carter. But Moore across midfield to the 49-yard line of Oklahoma. 28-yard catch and run.
Sean, you made the point earlier, and I want to repeat it. This receiving core doesn't have a lot of speed except for one guy, and that's number 6, Kashif Moore. Ooh, looked like he stepped out of bounds there.
They snap it quickly. And no gain on the play for Jordan Todman, who was wrapped up by Jeremy Beal. Senior who's had a tremendous career at Oklahoma. 43rd career start. He's on his way to the NFL.
And not a real big guy, not a real fast guy. Just fundamentally sound all the time. Very strong at the point. He looks to me like he'll be an outside linebacker at the next level in a 34 scheme.
Bob Stoops saying he's incredibly smart. Second and 10 for Zach Frazier. And it's intercepted off the hands of his receiver. Jamel Fleming's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Oklahoma. You talk about this receiving core for Connecticut. The reality is they're just not very good to compete at this level. Michael Smith has the ball go off his hands. See you later.
Well, if Allstate wanted to sponsor 2 of them, they could have a bad hands and a good hands play all in one. As he hit him in a bad spot right in the hands for Smith, and then he just takes it back for 6 all the way. Jamel Fleming right where he needs to be.
Well, each team's returned an interception for a touchdown. Fleming took that one 55 yards. Jimmy Stevens the extra point. Is the 5th interception of the season for the junior from Arlington, Texas. Jamel Fleming has had an excellent year as a first-year starter for the Sooners. There's a look at the Coach's Trophy presented by Dr. Pepper. The trophy's been on a season-long tour. It's been stopping at key games every week. It'll be awarded to the winner of the 2011 Tostitos BCS National Championship game right here in Glendale on January 10th. The trophy was created back in 1986. Not easy to hoist. It weighs about 45 pounds. That crystal football itself is about 8 pounds. They're always worried about that football falling and breaking.
Well, that's a good place to put it right now, right next to the field.
Yeah, somebody can run it over. Tressway kicks off again. 2 touchdowns in a minute and 11 seconds for Oklahoma. Robbie Fry. He has speed. Robbie Fry breaks free. Only one man has a chance, and they will not catch him. 95 yards. Touchdown, Connecticut.
Well, the former Lehighton Indian used all that Lehigh Valley Conference speed. Nobody caught him. That guy can run. He's a straight line speed guy, and he showed every ounce of it there.
We mentioned one of the strengths of this Connecticut team. Kickoff returns. Williams has returned 2 for scores this year. Now Fry has brought one back. He had a key kickoff return at the very end of that South Florida game in the regular season finale to set up the game-winning field goal by Dave Teggart, who just kicked the extra point. Well, this is typical of UConn. They will scratch and claw in every way all the way to the end. Here's a look at it from our DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam.
All right, just a nice move on Rondell Lewis to the inside, and then he just got on that left sideline and just used his speed. And you can see he's just distancing himself from everybody. Run through a couple tackles. Now he's 210 pounds, has very good speed. And then after he picked up his blocks and was able to get to that left sideline, it was gone.
And that's been a season-long problem and frustrating for Bob Stoops. That's 4 kickoff returns allowed by Oklahoma. Touchdowns this year. 9 in the last 3 years. And you remember one of those, Matt, they were the #1 team in the country. They went to Missouri. John McGaffey of Missouri returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown. That really set the tone for that game. It wound up being Oklahoma's first loss.
It really did set the tone, Sean. And then it was a really nicely played game by the Missouri Tigers, but the whole thing is set up by the special teams. Randy Edsel and his staff do a great job of special teams, and I know Bob Stoops has been very disappointed with his.
Chad Kristen kicks off down to the goal line to Trey Franks. And he is chopped down shy of the 20. Good coverage by Martin Hippolyte. Let's check in with Heather Cox. Apparently there's a problem with Heather's mic. We'll get back to Heather as soon as we can. And just when it looked like the route was on, UConn score. They get back within 17 and a long way to go. 9:24 remaining. Out of the pistol, Jones gave it to DeMarco Murray, taken down by Scott Luttress, who's battling admirably with really only one arm with which to tackle tonight.
I think Scott Luttress has had a pretty good game here tonight. Pretty active game. They pull him out. They pull him out on the third downs. But I'll tell you, it's not easy to be tackling people with one hand and a club.
You would have liked to have been clubbing people out there on a regular basis. There's DeMarco Murray the other way. Stopped just short of the first down by Bleedy Ray Wilson. And of course, you did tackle a few people in the Fiesta Bowl. Way back in 1977, our very own Matt Millen was the defensive most valuable player of Penn State's Fiesta Bowl win over Arizona State, coached by Frank Kush. And of course, your coach is still the coach of Penn State,
right there?
Joe Paterno.
That's a long time ago.
This bowl game's come a long way since then. Kind of a newbie back then, and now it's a stalwart. And Murray stopped short of the first down.
He's not down all the way yet.
UConn holds. Jerome Jr. made the play.
You know, he was on top. Jerome Jr. came up and drilled him, but he landed on top of Jerome Jr. And he could have, it appeared that his knees weren't down. He could have gotten up. Watch the hit. Put head to head. Now he's not down, still not down. He's on top of him. He could have gotten up. Instead, he used him as a chair. Hand is still fine. That's a good play by Junior, though. He worked through the block, made the read really well, and came up and made the hit.
Tressway punts. This is a good one. Nick Williams muffed it. And it's still loose, and Connecticut has it back at the 29-yard line.
A lot of fighting going on for that ball, boy.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football's presentation of the 2011 Tostitos Fiesta Bowl from University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, just outside Phoenix. I'd like to thank the MetLife Blip for the unique overhead views of tonight's event. To gain a unique perspective on your financial security, visit MetLife.com today. Big possession for Jordan Todman in Connecticut. Down by 17 midway through the third quarter. Zach Frazier, some fakes, and then a deep throw, and the catch, but is it in bounds? No, say the officials. Michael Smith held on to that one, but couldn't stay in bounds. Jamel Fleming in coverage.
Well, he's well protected. You see him at the end. He's got to get a foot in. Got to get a foot in bounds, and he did not get it in. There's also a carry rule in college football. Didn't apply right there, however.
Another good play by Fleming. Quentin Venables told us the cornerbacks were the question mark at the start of the year, but they both had terrific years. Jordan Todman starting to find more regular running room, but it is a UConn offense that is really in a slump. They haven't scored an offensive touchdown in more than 6 quarters. They won their regular season finale against South Florida with a defensive touchdown and 4 field goals. Their last touchdown was in their second to last regular season game in the fourth quarter in a win against Cincinnati. Todman's up to 60 yards rushing. And another hole, and another broken tackle, and another first down. 13 yards on the run for Todman.
Now he's at 73, and he does it the hard way. Just following. Nice block by Sherman, the fullback. Nicely done by Zach Hurd, the right guard. And then he just runs through tackles. This kid, he's a strong tackler. A runner, rather. He runs through arm tackles, runs behind his pad, like we mentioned earlier. Very patient runner.
Big East Offensive Player of the Year, unanimously chosen by the coaches. Robbie Fry is the runner, and he has about 5. And an interesting personal story for Jordan Todman as well. You're looking at Steve and Dana Cruz. They are his legal guardians. Steve Cruz was Jordan Todman's Pop Warner coach when he was 8 or 9 years old. And Steve's son, Justin, became Jordan Todman's best friend. Dumped off in the flat. It's the tight end, or the fullback rather, Sherman, chopped down by Jamel Fleming. So Todman stayed close to the Cruz family. He was living in a tough neighborhood. When he got to about 8th grade, his parents got together with the Cruzes. They decided that Jordan would move in with the Cruzes to go to high school at Dartmouth High School, really with an eye just toward graduating from high school. Then he had a prolific football career there, and it was a big bonus. He became a prospect. And he remains very close with the Cruzes, who made the trip out here. Jeremy Beal makes the tackle on Todman. Jordan told us the Cruzes really wanted to get here because of the snow in the east. They had to drive from Massachusetts to Baltimore, Maryland to get a flight. Flew from Baltimore to Detroit, Detroit to Phoenix to get here. And I think they were just told by somebody on TV, watching on TV, that they were on TV. The phone is ringing.
Well, Steve was his Little League coach for the New Bedford Bears.
Yes.
And he followed him all the way up, so he's known him ever since he's 8 years old.
Play action fake to Todman. Frazier needs to get rid of it and throws it away. It'll be 3rd down. Here's Heather.
I talked to the Cruz family before the game, and they were all just beaming and bursting with pride. Dana said it's hard to believe that she's here. She said it's surreal. I can't believe that that little 8-year-old boy that we took under our wing is playing in a game this big and maybe playing in the NFL next year. They're living vicariously through Jordan Todman.
And that is the likely next stop. Of course, UConn produced Donald Brown, the Big East Offensive Player of the Year in 2008. Was a first-round pick, the only one they've had in school history, and he's doing well with the Indianapolis Colts. We asked Jordan Todman when we visited the other day, are we going to be having one of these meetings with you next season? And he just smiled and looked at us.
Yeah, he said, what's for lunch?
Yes. So he is almost certainly on his way to the NFL draft. He said he was going to announce his intentions right after this game. And good luck to him. Very nice young man. You can understand why the Cruzes and his biological parents would be very proud of him because he's a terrific kid.
You know, it's always impressive, Sean. I mean, you take a kid like Jordan Todman, and he understands the chance. He understands the people he represents. And he said there's about 25 people that, you know, that go into
the Todd Millions.
Yeah, he called them the Todd Millions.
Yes.
But he knows, you know, he remembers the Little League coach. He remembers the high school coaches. He remembers his teammates. He remembers the guys who got him to this point. And I'm always impressed by that you don't forget where you came from.
Jamel Fleming walks off. And they didn't go to the different high school to play football. You see that all over the country. I'm going to go play in a better football situation. This was to get him into a better school system. As he said, the football thing developing just turned out to be a big bonus. He wasn't sure before he made the move. He was in an environment where he was going to even be able to graduate from high school.
What a great young man and a great story.
Ronell Lewis is being taken to the locker room. Hybrid linebacker and defensive end, and Heather will find out what's the story there. 3rd and 7. Frazier's pass deflected and almost intercepted. And they'll send the field goal team on because they want to make it a 2-score game. Right now they're down by 3 scores.
Well, they came with the blitz inside. Now this gets tipped off the helmet of Jeremy Beal. But that was going to be a tough catch to Smith back inside. Jonathan Nelson almost came up with a pick.
So here's Dave Taggart, who was the roommate of Jasper Howard last year. 38-yard try. He's 1 for 1 tonight from 37. He's a clutch kicker. And they're back within 2 scores. 5 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Here's Heather.
As you can see, Ronell Lewis is being carted off of the field on a stabilizing board. They've taken their time. They've been very cautious. They've tested his neck earlier. I did see movement in both of his arms and both of his legs, but since they've stabilized him to the board, they have not allowed him to move at all. They're going to take him back into the locker room for x-rays and further evaluation. As I mentioned, they're taking every precaution necessary, being very cautious. He is conscious. He is alert. He is talking. I will keep you updated as I get more information.
Well, it's good that you saw the movement as well, Heather. A young man who's really developed. Last year, kind of a special teams demon. They nicknamed him the Hammer for his heavy hits on special teams. And now he's evolved as a sophomore into an important part of their defense. He's from a small town in Oklahoma. He didn't play football. He played 8-man football until his senior year in high school.
Well, you can see he's gotten better and better. You can see we had this team, the Oklahoma team, the second week of the season, and from then till now you could see that he's gotten better.
Chad Kristen kicks off. Brennan Clay will bring it out, the true freshman. Tripped up by Jerome Williams. Again, shy of the 20. The line of scrimmage will be the 17. Tuesday night, ESPN delivers the All-State Sugar Bowl. Terrell Pryor and the 6th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes face Arkansas, the SEC. Ohio State is 0-9 all-time in bowl games against teams from the SEC. That's Tuesday night on ESPN. Two outstanding quarterbacks, Terrell Pryor and Ryan Mallett.
Yeah, and what we don't see there is the running yards by Terrell Pryor. And I'm anxious to watch Mallett against that Ohio State defense. I think Mallett has a big-time arm, and I think Ohio State has a very good pass defense.
And taking Lewis to the locker room, as Heather reported. Kenny Stills, an 8-yard reception. Now Jones after the fake. High throw over the head of Ryan Broyles. Landry Jones is a guy who's taken some criticism, less of it as the season's gone along, and he's continued to put up big numbers, but he still hasn't won over Sooner Nation entirely, which is hard to believe when you look at the performances. Thrown into the fire last year as a redshirt freshman when Sam Bradford was injured. But he's much more comfortable this year with a full year of experience under his belt. 3rd down and 2. Jones throws, broken up, batted back toward the line of scrimmage. It was intended for Cameron Kenny.
That was good defense. Good defense. Looked like it was Brady Way Wilson, number 5. Well, that could have been an interception, and it could have been a completion back inside because it comes off of on the tip. They could have picked that up and still advanced it for a 1st down. Instead, it's incomplete and forces his 4th.
Tress Way will punt for the 3rd time. All of them here in the 2nd half. This Connecticut defense has been excellent. Remember that one of the scores was by the Oklahoma defense in the 2nd half on the pick 6 by Jamel Fleming. And punt goes out of bounds at the 33-yard line. There's the offense the last 2 games. Still no offensive touchdowns. 2 interception returns for scores. The kickoff return tonight by Robbie Fry and 5 field goals from Dave Teggart.
Joe Moorhead, their offensive coordinator, you can see him right here. And that is a patient man. He's a patient man. He knows what he has. He stays within the confines of what they're capable of doing. This receiving core is not the greatest receiving core. Jordan Todman's their offense.
He's started to find some running room, starting with that carry late in the 1st half that went for 19 yards. He gets 2 there, tackled by Stacy McGee.
It's no coincidence that he's getting a little more running room here in the 2nd half, and their offense has been moving the ball a little bit better. Because when he starts running, then the play action pass can come off of it, like Heather Cox said right after the half. And then there's those shots that he takes. Those are the ones they haven't been able to complete tonight.
Frazier, a little too hot to handle for Michael Smith. And he's had a dreadful night. He gave up on a ball on a 3rd down long in the 1st half that it looked like he should have caught if he had been more concerned with the ball than the defender. And then he had the ball ricochet off his hands that went for the touchdown by Jamel Fleming of Oklahoma here in the 2nd half.
And they keep sending him inside. Zach Frazier loves to throw inside, and that's a dangerous place to be. You got to be really accurate to throw
Michael
inside.
Smith hasn't looked comfortable being in the traffic tonight either. 3rd down and 8. Can the offense make a play for Connecticut? Penalty marker down. There's been 1 penalty in the game, a 5-yarder against Connecticut.
On the offense, number 63, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
And now another on Adam Masters, the right tackle.
Early, they were having success with the crossing routes, Sean. And they were dragging them across the field, and they have been getting good protection. Let's see if they don't go back to that.
Again, some conversation along that offensive line. Frazier, 2 for his last 10, is blitzed and chopped down. Didn't look like a big hit, but he couldn't stay on his feet. Tony Jefferson got enough of him to send him sprawling to the grass back at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, they're going to bring him off the slot, and it's a blitz. Jefferson's going to come. You're going to see it. You can see it right up top here. And now that's on the quarterback. The quarterback has to be able to account for that because it's outside the box. They would not have accounted for him rather. Jefferson gets the sack.
Brent Venables says Jefferson's going to be a superstar if he works hard throughout his career. He's just a true freshman. Bomb of a punt by Cole Wagner. Caught by Ryan Broyles. Picks up some blocks. Looks the running room now. Lost the football, and Jerome Jr. has it for Connecticut. Lawrence Wilson, great hustle, the starting linebacker on punt coverage, ran down Broyles and poked it out, and then another defensive starter, Jerome Jr., fell on the football.
And this is what separates Ryan Broyles. Now he has great run after the catch, or in this instance as a punt returner, but he doesn't have top end speed. And that's what gets him. Watch Lawrence Wilson, number 8. He runs him down from behind. Look at that. He smacks the ball. The ball should never have been placed there. There are 4 points of pressure. He violated 3 of them. There's only 1, and that was in his head. And he feels the pain.
Yeah, seen it before in BCS bowl games. Big mistakes have hurt Oklahoma. 57-yard punt, 57-yard return. Now Todman trying to bust one. Gets 9. Jaden Bird took him down from behind. How about Lawrence Wilson, Matt?
Oh, yeah. What a
50th
player.
career start. Young man from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. He told us the other day UConn was the only scholarship offer he had from anybody. Like you said, no Division II or III. He said, no, I was going to go to a local junior college in Alabama if UConn didn't offer me. He's one of those players who, when he came to Connecticut, their offices were in double-wide trailers. Only 5 years ago, the Connecticut football offices were in double-wide trailers outside the football stadium.
Oh, well, that was a young pup, and he grew into the big dog. Not a real big man, however. He'll continue to grow. He'll be playing on Sundays. He has good instincts. He's a good tackler. Runs very well, like you saw, catching Broyles from behind, and great awareness, as you also saw, slapping the ball away.
John Dorsey back in the early 80s had more tackles as a Husky. Jordan Todman lowers his shoulder and crosses the 35. Demontre Hurst made the tackle, a cornerback. Todman is, after a very slow start, on his way to another 100-yard game. It would be his 10th of the season. He's going to get a breather. Robbie Fry in for him. 1.5 minutes to go, third quarter. Connecticut trying to make a game of it. Second and 7. Fry got rocks as he crossed the line of scrimmage. Tom Wart in there, linebacker, another freshman who will hit you, made the stop.
Yeah, I like Wart when I watch him on tape. Now, he's an aggressive kid. He sees things really well, reads well, and he's a good hitter. Look at that, right where he should be.
Look at it from our DirecTV Ultimate Picture cam. Wart grew up in the United Kingdom. His dad used to do business over in the United States. Would bring him back inflatable footballs. He started throwing the footballs around at school in England. The headmaster said, those things are too pointy, you're going to hurt somebody. The family finally moved to the States when he was in the 8th grade. Another drop ball. This one by Ryan Griffin, the tight end, normally shorthanded. And that's a huge drop. It would have moved the chains on 3rd down. Instead, it's 4th and 6.
And you can't blame the quarterback for that. Now, he's got to put a little mustard on this because it's inside. And he lets the ball gets into his pads and bounces it out.
And he's also, it appeared, taking his eye off the ball a little bit. I think this physical Oklahoma linebacker and secondary corps made an impression on some of these Husky receivers.
Yeah, well, that's inexcusable.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't care where you got the ball's there. That's your job. Catch the ball. It's right on your chest.
Oh, high snap. Good job by Wagner. So Broyles another chance. He muffed 2 in their win against Nebraska. Caught that one and spun to the 30.
That time he did keep all 4 points of pressure.
40-yard punt, 6-yard return. Heather?
Guys, I've just gotten confirmation that the ambulance staff is getting ready to transport Ron L. Lewis to the nearest hospital. Now, I've been told that Bonner Australia Hospital is about 5 minutes away. That's where they normally take any NFL players that get hurt in the stadium, unless it's more significant, and then they'll go to Phoenix. But the ambulance is transporting Ron L. Lewis for further evaluation.
Any further update on what they think is wrong with him, Heather?
No, they're obviously being very cautious and very quiet. Obviously, they'd like to talk to the family before they give out any other additional information, but they're all doing all the testing that they need to. They're certainly concerned with that neck area.
All right, Landry Jones, thank you, Heather, to Kenny Stills for a first down to the 45.
You know, to piggyback on what Heather was talking about, that's protocol. And the medical staff does a fantastic job. And so they get him on the board, and they strap him down. They don't want him to move. I was watching, and he was moving when they were testing him. Those were all good signs, but they're going to follow the protocol like they should, and they will do exactly what they're doing.
And the fact that they're taking him apparently to the local hospital, not into Phoenix, is also good news based on what Heather said. You thought they were testing him originally for a stinger when he first got over there because they weren't grabbing his hands. End of the third quarter, Oklahoma, a 2-touchdown lead at the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Welcome back to ESPN's presentation of the 2011 Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. And we think we've identified the play on which Ron L. Lewis got hurt.
You can see right in the middle. It's a nice block. He stays on, hits him squared up with his face, and then as he starts to go off, he starts to feel it. Now, the good news is he walked off the field. The bad news is that when they tested him, they must have had something or detected something that would merit the protocol that's been taken.
Now that is good news that he walked off. Then they started to test him for a stinger. He has had back problems in the past, missed some time in the preseason with a bad back. So it's Oklahoma ball as we head to the fourth quarter. They lead by 2 touchdowns. Ryan Broyles, nice maneuvering after the catch. Out of bounds in the arms of Jerome Jr., but it's a first down to the UConn 43.
You know, and if you notice at the end of that hit by Jr., the ball came loose again. I talked about 4 points of pressure.
There's DeMarco Murray closing out a prolific career for Oklahoma.
And the 4 points of pressure are your hand, the palm of your hand, your forearm, the crook of your elbow, and tight against your body. Those are the 4 points. On that punt return, he violated 3 of them. He just had it in his hand.
Landry Jones on 2nd and 6 for Broyles again. And he's working on another big night. That's his 11th catch of the night. 129, adding to his own single season Oklahoma record. He's a junior, but he's setting all of their receiving records, and it might be his last game. He talked with us the other day about the possibility he could well head into the NFL draft.
Well, like we've witnessed here tonight, his run after the catch or his ability to run in the open field, it sets him apart.
Averaging 112 yards receiving per game. He's better than that tonight with 160. He was the target on that deep ball and was very well covered by Bleedy Ray Wilson.
Bleedy Ray Wilson can run with him. And the thing that Broyles has been killing teams with this team here tonight has been all the underneath things, all the underneath routes. All these things that require speed to run away, he's not been able to get.
Broyles has averaged 9 catches per game this year. He's now had 100 receiving yards or more in 12 of his last 15 games. He had a huge bowl game in the Sun Bowl last year, and they went over Stanford with 15 catches. DeMarco Murray, the intended receiver. That'll bring up 3rd down and long, 3rd and 10. They're on the fringe of field goal range, and any points here would be big. It would make it a 3-score game early in the fourth quarter. Bob Stoops says sometimes he will step in terms of the pace management. He lets the offensive staff basically run the offense, but if the game situation dictates they should slow down with a lead late, he might remind them, hey, let's take some time off the play clock. Because there wasn't an issue there because the game clock wasn't running. Pass is complete, but for a very short gain to the 30. The Trey Franks, Gary Wilburn chased him out. That would make it about a 47 or 48-yard field goal. And if they try it and make it, it would be the longest field goal of the year for Oklahoma. They've used 2 different field goal kickers. Jimmy Stevens has handled most of them. Patrick O'Hara has the stronger leg. They are going to stick with Stevens. Career long is 42. He made one from 41 tonight with room to spare. Longest attempt of the season will be this one. He hasn't tried one longer than 42. This should be 47, and it's a fake. And it is broken up. John Nemo, the holder, was looking for Trent Rattery, a backup tight end. And it was well played by Jerome Jr. He's made a couple of big plays on special teams here. He covered the Broyles fumble on the punt return. And he breaks up the pass intended for Rattery.
That is a great play by Jerome Jr. Not good, great.
Randy Edsall realizes that play has kept his team in the ballgame.
I'm Steve Weisman, and here's what's happening on SportsCenter right now. The University of Pittsburgh has fired head football coach Mike Haywood. This a day after he was arrested on a domestic violence charge and less than 3 weeks after he was hired. Also, Leslie Frazier telling our Ed Werder he's not expecting Brett Favre to play Sunday in what's likely the final game of his NFL career. That's what's happening on SportsCenter right now. Back to Glendale in the Fiesta Bowl.
All right, Steve, thank you. Here in Glendale, we just had a big play by Jerome Jr., starting safety for Connecticut, bringing up a pass on a fake field goal try by Oklahoma to keep it a 2-score game. The time's running out for this Connecticut offense. Zach Frazier, all day to throw, going deep down the sideline and too high for Todman. Let's go back and take a look at that fake field goal from our DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam.
I want you to watch both the receivers, and 15 and 32. That's Luchers 32 and Jerome Jr. 15. They're going to cross it. And Luchers tries to jump him to the outside. Here's his coverage to the inside. But Jerome Jr. stays on top of his coverage. The middle was wide open. Watch Jr. recover, get his head back, and pull the ball out. That's just a fantastic play.
5 tackles, a fumble recovery tonight for Jerome Jr., a sophomore. Jordan Todman carried for 4. Here comes another big 3rd down.
Well, Zach Frazier has not had an overwhelming night, but his receiving core, as you pointed out earlier, Sean, has not helped him.
They have no playmakers.
There have been some. There's one guy, Kashif Moore, 82 is the guy, or 6 rather, tonight.
He has 3 catches tonight. Frazier throws. There's a play. Isaiah Moore taken down by Jonathan Nelson. 15-yard completion to Isaiah Moore.
This offensive line from UConn has protected pretty well tonight. And they've given him time. That time he was able to stand there in the pocket. Step and throw mechanics were good. The ball's right where it needed to be to Isaiah Moore.
Just his 2nd catch of the night and 15th of the year. They're 5 out of 14 now on 3rd downs. Not great, but that was a big one. Frazier after the fake throws short. Anthony Sherman, one of the captains, tackled by Travis Lewis. Short gain. Sherman, one of those unsung heroes. Randy Edsall said, hey, a lot of Jordan Todman's success is because of the work that Anthony Sherman does in lead blocking.
He is a tough guy. He's a smart guy, has very good vision. And why that's important, he has to see the hole that Todman's going to take, because Todman trusts him implicitly.
Todman tackled again by Travis Lewis, who's had another good game for Oklahoma. Line of scrimmage will be the 45-yard line, and another third down for Connecticut. You think they're at the time of the game now where they're getting toward 4-down country?
Not quite yet. Although defensively, Sean, the key to managing the game, you have to read both sides. Defensively, they've played pretty well here in the second half.
Frazier given time again, just lofts it up, and it is caught. Now dropped. I guess he never fully had possession. Kashif Moore looked like a receiver was finally going to make a big play tonight for Connecticut, but he couldn't hang on with Nelson and Hurst in coverage.
He goes up and he has control. Oh, and then
Nelson batted it out.
And looks.
And then it was a battle because it hadn't hit the ground yet until the very end.
Oh, there
it's on the ground there.
Yeah.
Yep. Good work by Jonathan Nelson. And a good effort by Kashif Moore. So here's Wagner. Randy Edsall decides to punt. Try to pin them deep. Broyles lets it bounce. And now fields it and gets walloped out of bounds. At the 12-yard line by Ryan Griffin. Landry Jones will have the ball. A 2-touchdown lead. 11-14 to go when we come back to Glendale, Arizona.
ESPN College Football, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, is brought to you by Tostitos Lay's Classic and Sun Chips. We make them natural. You make them fun. The G Series, Prime, Perform, Recover. The Touchdown Big Box, only at Taco Bell. And Discover, it pays to discover, official card of the Bowl Championship Series.
Tonight's aerial footage provided by MetLife. With strength and security, MetLife can help you tackle whatever comes your way with guarantees for the if in life. Oklahoma back at its own 12-yard line, but leading by 14. 11-14 to go. Landry Jones fires quickly to Kenny Stills. Stills tackled by Scott Luttrell. Some celebrity power on the Oklahoma sideline. On the left, Toby Keith, country music star, and on the right, Arizona head coach Mike Stoops, the brother of Oklahoma's Bob Stoops.
Well, Toby Keith, one of his songs is "How Do You Like Me Now?" And the only reason I know that is because they told me down in the truck. But
yeah, Bo Garrett, our producer, is a big country music fan. Stills down on the ground, might be a cramp. Our director is Mike Roig. Our consultant is Elvis Presley.
Blue suede shoes. Now that's a country song.
Interesting outfits in the crowd here tonight. Better than 67,000 on hand.
There's Cher.
This New Year's night, as we conclude a terrific day of college football action on the ESPN family of networks. Stills, the outstanding freshman with 8 catches tonight.
Landry Jones is not afraid to throw the ball around. He has 5 receivers with 25 or more catches. If you're open, he'll find you.
He's thrown for 365 tonight. That's his 13th game of 300 or more passing in 24 starts. More than half the time he's going to throw for 300. And good coverage by Lawrence Wilson. Intended receiver James Hanna. And give these Pac-10 officials credit tonight. They've let them play. They've been very consistent.
They have let him play. And I think that's just good coverage there by Wilson, number 8. Good time to throw. Ball's inside. He comes from the top down. It looks like it's good defense.
And it's been good defense here in the second half by Connecticut. They've held Oklahoma to 14 points. And, of course, the Oklahoma defense scored one of those touchdowns here in the second half.
Timeout. University of Connecticut. Timeout number 1.
Well, you hate to do that if you're Randy Edsall. Down by 2 scores. The timeout's so precious, and the clock was stopped. They also know how important it is to stop this 3rd down and 5. Monday night, ESPN delivers the Discover Orange Bowl in South Florida. Two of the top quarterbacks in the nation head-to-head. The Pac-10 Player of the Year, Andrew Luck, in Stanford against the ACC Player of the Year, Tyrod Taylor in Virginia Tech. The Discover Orange Bowl Monday night on ESPN. Of course, the backstory there with coverage beginning at 8. Will it be Jim Harbaugh's last game at Stanford? Lots of rumored destinations should he choose to leave Stanford. What a season for Virginia Tech. 0-2 and then 11 straight wins.
What a heck of a game in the ACC championship game Tyrod Taylor had. He beat him with his arm. He beat him with his legs. He was just as good as I've seen him play. If he carries that over, he can get himself a trophy just like this.
When you won the Fiesta Bowl in '77, was that the trophy? That looks kind of new.
Yeah, I got a pat in the back from Joe, and don't let the door hit you on the way out.
That's what you got.
Hey, there's my trophy.
That hat. Looks good on you, though. Enjoy the soup. 3rd down and 5. Jones fakes one way, now goes deep, and the receiver has it. Cameron Kenny, another big catch for Oklahoma. Boy, has he come on in the last 3 ball games for the Sooners. Harris Agbor the tackle, but it's 36 yards on the completion to Kenny.
Well, this is the matchup that he liked early in the game, and that's where he's gone all night long. When he's needed a big play, he's gone after Gratz on the outside.
Now Broyles, run down by Scott Luttress at the 39. Here's Heather Cox.
Guys, it's been a tough second half for Ryan Broyles. He's gotten sick 3 times on the sideline over the last 10 minutes. Yet, as you see, he continues to perform on the field. He turned to me before the last time he came out on the field, gave me a thumbs up, continues to go. Kenny Stills also tested that left ankle, good to return.
Whoa, dangerous throw intended for Ryan Broyles. He got knocked down by Bleedy Ray Wilson.
Bleedy Ray Wilson reads it, and just, he's not going to make him feel any better. If he was throwing up now, this is really going to make him sick.
He's impressive. Wilson, and just a sophomore.
A sophomore. Pennsylvania. That's a Edinburgh kid, isn't he?
Oh, put down the Pennsylvania pom-poms.
That's a good Pennsylvania guy. You got to love him. Yeah, Nami.
Another 3rd down, under 10 minutes to go now. Jones up to the line. He runs the play clock all the way down. They better snap it. Didn't get it off. First penalty of the night against Oklahoma.
On the offense, number 12, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Which is very rare for.
Timeout, University of Oklahoma, prior to the delay of game.
Well, apparently they got it from the sideline just before the play clock ran out.
Yeah, they did. And I saw the side official, and he had the call. He just had to report it to the referee.
So each team with 2 timeouts remaining. Randy Edsall doesn't like it.
Well, Randy Edsall can't see and have the benefit of seeing what we see here. My eyes were down on the sideline, and the side judge, he did have the call. And the clock was going down, and Coach Stoops, he hit the timeout, and they waved it off, and the other the referee did see it. Yeah, he's watching the clock, and so he's yelling at it. See, he's yelling down the sideline. And he had it.
Well, you see the official had trouble getting the whistle in his mouth. That might have been part of the problem.
Well, he should have put that hot dog away.
There was no whistle sounding. I mean, that's why I think everybody in the stadium thought it was just delay a game. He had a hard time getting the whistle up to his mouth. Jones up to 408 yards passing now. Throws over the middle and caught by Trey Franks. Another huge 3rd down conversion for Oklahoma. And it gets them into field goal range as well. C.O. Moore made the tackle after a 20-yard play.
And another timely throw to just a freshman on the inside. And again, he beats Gratz to the inside. And Franks, like I said, just a freshman. Boy, they have some talented young players here.
And Connecticut had to call a timeout as they had a player, C.O. Moore, who was just running to get back on defense. So down by 2 touchdowns with 9.5 to go. They've burned 2 timeouts on defense. Looked like Randy Edsel wanted to strangle himself with that cord for a second, but I think it was just a tape issue. Timeout. Welcome you back to ESPN's college football coverage of the 2011 Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. There's the problem for Moore. He couldn't get his shoe bag on.
Yeah, so you have one of three things. You get it fixed, get off the field, or get a timeout, or take the timeout. They chose the timeout.
So he has the shoe back on. It's 1st and 10 Oklahoma at the 20 of Connecticut, already leading by 14 points. DeMarco Murray slides up the middle for 7. Lawrence Wilson made the tackle. Well, Landry Jones has set an Oklahoma bowl game record. 428 yards passing, breaks his own record. He had 418 in the Sun Bowl win last year against Stanford in a shootout. He has a chance for the overall school record tonight, which he shares with Sam Bradford. The most a quarterback's ever thrown for in any game at Oklahoma is 468. Jones did it this year at Oklahoma State. Sam Bradford threw for 468 once too, and Murray has the first down inside the 10 to the 7-yard line. And what a career he's had, with the injuries, a lot of stops and starts in his career, but at the end of the day, he's their all-time points leader. He's their all-time touchdown maker. He's their all-time leading receiver among running backs. 50 touchdowns, that's rushing, but he has 65 total. And that is the all-time record. When you break records held by Steve Owens and Joe Washington and guys like that, you've had a tremendous career.
Oh, he fits right up there. Now, this is a different offense than the names that you mentioned. But this is a very effective runner and receiver.
There he comes again. Oklahoma's all-time leader in all-purpose yards and touchdowns and points scored and receiving yards by a running back. Over 6,600 all-purpose yards entering tonight. Again, that's the rushing yard number, but in total touchdowns, he's number 1.
Well, that second guy right there, old Simbo, Billy Sims, that was one of the great ones. And had he stayed healthy, he would have been in the Hall of Fame in the National Football League. And he just tore Oklahoma up. Won the Heisman as a junior. And they've had some great runners here at Oklahoma. DeMarco Murray doesn't have to take a back seat to any of them.
Timeout number 2.
And he has over 1,400 yards, Murray, in 3 different categories: rushing yards, receiving yards in a career, and return yards. George Buster Rhymes, the only other player in the great history of Oklahoma who has done that. And Oklahoma all business tonight. We talked about the 5-game losing streak in BCS bowl games. And I know their fans and their players and coaches are tired of hearing about it, but it exists. Their last BCS bowl win back in 2003 in the Rose Bowl. But an impressive performance from start to finish tonight. On the other hand, if you're Connecticut, there's a lot of little things. You didn't get the 4th down early in the game. You have the ball go off a receiver's hand and go back the other way for a touchdown. You might look at the score at the end of the game and see that they lost by double digits, but it could have been a lot different for Connecticut.
Well, certainly Connecticut will be disappointed, but a lot of those things were created by a more talented team, specifically in the skill department, and we've seen it here tonight. Landry Jones has just been fantastic. We've seen Stills outside. We've seen Kenny outside. DeMarco Murray behind the ball, and then you got the little guy in the slot there, old number 85. Broyles
He's not bad.
He's not bad.
12 catches tonight. They have 2 receivers over 150 yards receiving, Broyles and Kenny. And there's Broyles again with a catch, and it is a touchdown. He's ruled inbounds with Harris Agbor all over him. Yeah, he got the foot down.
He did.
Wow. What an effort by Broyles, and another terrific call by these officials. That foot's down and it's inbounds. They're going to review it, but that's going to stand. He has possession all the way to the ground. Wow.
Did you see the position of both officials? Right where they had to be, right on the end line. One coming down the side from the sideline, You'll see him coming from the left side of your screen. There's the foot inbounds. Yeah, he's in all the way, and he has control all the way through the catch. And here comes the official there. And then behind him was the other official. He was standing and had his eyes right on it, right down the line.
Well, Ryan Broyles tonight, if it stands, and we certainly expect that it will, has 13 catches for 170 yards and a touchdown in what might be his last game. He's a junior. He now has 247 career catches, over 3,400 receiving yards, and 35 receiving touchdowns. All of those are Oklahoma all-time records, and he could have another year at Oklahoma if he wants to. 17th career 100-yard receiving game.
Firm play results in a touchdown.
Young man who got off to a difficult start was arrested, involved in an episode of a gas station. He got free gas, was charged with theft. And he had a couple of long heart-to-hearts with Bob Stoops. Said, you know, there's two ways this can go. You're going to clean it up, or you're going to be out of this football program. And to his credit, he's cleaned up his act. We've talked to him a couple times. You're a very likable young man.
Oh, very much. Great personality, effervescent, has a big smile. You know, he's just one of those guys you kind of like to be around.
Once committed, actually a couple times committed to Oklahoma State. He kept going back and forth during the recruitment. Finally settled on his hometown universities from right in Norman. Ryan Broyles. Extra point good by Stevens. 21-point game here. When we come back, we'll preview the BCS National Championship game on January 10th between Auburn and Oregon. Monday, January 10th. Don't miss the marquee event of the college football season, the Tostitos BCS National Championship game. And Heisman Trophy winner Cameron Newton complete one of the greatest individual seasons in college football history and give Auburn their second national championship. Will Oregon's dynamic offense carry the day? Number 1 versus number 2, January 10th, 8 o'clock on ESPN. First meeting between the two, and the first time the championship game has come down between two teams that were not ranked in the AP preseason top 10. Cam Newton, the 9th player in the last 11 years to win the Heisman and then play for the national title. Hasn't been good for the Heisman winners. They're 2-6 in BCS championship games. Here's Anthony Sherman. Nice run back by their starting fullback out to the 47-yard line. So who do you like? What do you look for in that national championship game 10 days from tonight right here in this building?
Well, first thing you have to do is you have to look at the Heisman Trophy winner. And like you mentioned, can he complete the journey? And because he's just such a dynamic player. And he can do it in a variety of different ways. And people forget how good a thrower he is because he's such a fantastic runner. And then when you go over and look at Oregon, you see two things. First of all, you see how well they run the football, but it's the pace again. And this is the fastest team. This is fast break football.
Robbie Fry trying to turn the corner and could not. Frank Alexander held the ground at the end. And it's a loss on the play.
Now, the interesting thing for me is going to be how Oregon plays against a physical defense. And they passed the test early against Stanford, and Stanford was still finding out exactly what they were. But now you come against an SEC defense with all of its speed, and so that's going to be the fun part for me.
The SEC has won its last 6 BCS championship games. There's Anthony Sherman out of the backfield. Nice move after the catch. Tom Ward finally wrestles him down at the 15-yard line.
His nickname should be the Sherman Tank, as he doesn't go down easy. And he's a powerful guy, and he's niftier than you think. He's good feet, big, thick, strong kid. They're going to miss him here.
Yeah. Leadership as well. Team captain, senior out of North Attleboro, Massachusetts. Now Todman down to the 13-yard line, a pickup of 3. He's up to 103 yards, so if it's his last game, he's going to go out with a 100-yard night.
You know, the thing with Sherman,
is, you know, at the next level, they're not really, the fullback is not the staple that it used to be. But this kid, he can play the U. That's the extra tight end. He's the guy who does the movement. He catches the ball well out of the backfield. He can block for you in the backfield. Good pass protector. There's a role for him at the next level.
He's going to play in the East-West game as well for the NFL scouts. Frazier sacked Frank Alexander, the junior from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Took him down to the grass.
You're going to watch Alexander. He's going to come off the left side. And it's really not a hard block to beat since nobody blocked him. And that's just poor there by Ryan, 71, the left tackle.
7+ quarters without an offensive touchdown for Connecticut. They are back to the 22 now. Set up a screen for Fry, looking for help. And it's just a posse of Sooners, and DeMondre Hurst wound up making the tackle. Boy, this defense can run, and they're hard to beat side to side. That's one of the things Brent Venables, their coordinator, said. We have terrific speed laterally, and that's been on display tonight.
Well, the parts of the defense that really run well are their linebackers and their secondary. But usually safeties aren't necessarily the fastest, but this group, that Carter, he can go.
4th down and 16. They're going for it. And Frazier's pass over the head of Michael Smith, who didn't seem to know the ball was coming. Aaron Colvin, a true freshman, at coverage, and Oklahoma takes over on downs.
Well, Sean, if we go back to the beginning of the game, we said a few things had to happen for Connecticut to be able to win. We said something good had to happen early, and that didn't. In fact, it went the other way on them. They were down early, 14 points. Then we said they had to be physical, and they had to be physical in their offense and defensive lines. And Oklahoma handled them on both sides of the ball. And then Todman had to have a big night, which he did. And then Frazier had to have probably his best game, which he didn't.
And again, the receiver corps did very little to help. LaMarco Murray. Tough run. Harris Agbor made the tackle.
And if we go back to the beginning of the game and look at what was talked about for this Oklahoma team, all of them came through. We talked about the triumvirate, the 3 players who had to play well for them as there's a flag down. But DeMarco Murray, he came through. Landry Jones.
After the play, personal foul on the defense, number 15. 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's on Jerome Jr. And then the last one, of course, is Broyles, who's just had a fantastic night. And we talked about Landry Jones and his quick release, and that was evident, as was his accuracy. And then Murray, the balance that he had between catching the ball and running the ball. He showed that all night. And then, oh, by the way, there's this kid named Broyles. He's pretty darn good. He can beat you catching the ball. He can beat you running after the catch. This is a really dynamic offense.
The 4th career 400-yard passing game for Landry Jones, and that adds to his own school record. And again, he's only a sophomore.
A sophomore. And the weather's not even chilly.
No, the weather not chilly for college football.
Oh, Keith Jackson, he was just the best, wasn't he?
Harris Agbor limping off. They were short-handed at safety tonight. Mike Lang, who started a lot of the season, didn't make the trip due to academic issues. Well, Agbor stepped in as the starter.
Played a pretty solid game here tonight.
And, you know, it's going to be, in all likelihood, a loss for Connecticut. But a pretty good effort. You know, they hung in there. It looked like they were going to run out of the building early. They were down 10 at the half. They had a chance to make a game if it could never quite get that big play or two to really put the pressure on Oklahoma.
Well,
but it's the Big East that's taken a lot of abuse. And once again, if you look at the record this year, the Big East is going to be 3-2 even after this loss in bowl games. And year in and year out, the Big East has a winning record in bowl games.
You know, I think people who dog the Big East should go watch some of the tape of that conference, because I'm telling you, I've watched a bunch of tapes for this game,
And you watch that West Virginia defense, you watch the South Florida defense. I mean, there's some teams there that are physical and can run.
Of course, this is only one standard of measure, but Randy Edsall and his colleagues in the Big East can be very proud of this record. They'll be 3-2 after tonight with this loss. Pittsburgh still has a bowl game to play against Kentucky, but that's a winning record every year since 2006 for the Big East. And they took a little bit of a beating because they didn't have a great team this year.
Right.
But in each of the previous 5 years, they've had a team finish in the top 12 of the final BCS standings. A really good Louisville team went down, won the Orange Bowl. We saw West Virginia win out here in the Fiesta Bowl against Oklahoma. Cincinnati had a terrific club. I talked with Nick Carparelli, who does a great job running the Big East Football Conference today. He said, I think the bowl season proves his point. He said, we didn't have a great team this year, but we have a lot of very good teams, including Connecticut. West Virginia, very good.
And I think the impressive thing for this Connecticut team is there's a lot of good young players here, as there is on this Oklahoma team. And so I think, you know, bright days for both these teams. But for Oklahoma, they have the makings of a national championship team. They have to keep some of their guys here, but even that, they have some young freshmen who are just dynamic.
Dumped off short. Rattery fumbled. Picked up on a hop by Jerome Jr. And now they're calling it an incomplete pass. Wow. Maybe the whistle was blowing. We just didn't hear it, but it seemed like it took a long time for that whistle to blow. Well, that's a catch, and he took about 3 steps up the field. Well, no, he didn't have possession.
He never really had possession of it.
It was a good call.
Yep.
And you could see the official was running in. Maybe he just didn't hear the whistle or it wasn't in his mouth, but you can see the official on the near side of the field almost immediately saying incomplete. He'll start running.
Well, this has been, and we talked about it earlier, but this has been a really well officiated game.
Yes.
Third and final timeout.
I think it's called a timeout. I wonder if it's hoping for a replay review here. Monday night, ESPN delivers the Discover Orange Bowl. Andrew Luck and Tyrod Taylor head-to-head, 2 of the very best quarterbacks in the country. Monday night on ESPN, coverage beginning at 8 o'clock, and also available on ESPN Radio, online at ESPN3.com, and on your phone.
What a fantastic job Jim Harbaugh has done at Stanford. And for those of you who haven't really paid much attention to what's going on at Stanford, I'll tell you, I put the tape on of the Stanford team to watch them, and I was shocked at how physical and how big they've become. He's just done a fantastic job of getting them in the weight room. And I know one of the guys, one of their strengths coaches there, is the old All-Pro from the Oakland Raiders, Steve Wisniewski.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have just done a fantastic job, and they've remade that team physically. And then, of course, what he's done with the quarterback. Like I said, Andrew Luck is NFL ready right now.
Although there's been some mumblings in recent years, he's leaning toward coming back in recent weeks, leaning toward coming back. This is a challenge, by the way, by Connecticut, and I think they're going to lose it.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. The pass is incomplete. University of Connecticut has charged their third and final timeout. They have also used their coach's challenge. The down will be 4.
He never has possession. Ball is rolling around. Looked at a quick glance like he caught it and turned up the field, which he never caught it.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with Jim Harbaugh.
Yes.
If that Michigan job would come open, and they, of course, took a beating today, if they would want to go after him.
Well, you would think they would want to go after him if they're going to make a change. Dave Brandon said he wanted to wait for the end of the season. He's the athletic director of Michigan, to evaluate the entirety of the season. Well, if the coach was trying to save his job today, it wasn't the kind of performance by the team that was going to help his cause. Way's punt is down to the 7-yard line. Those are tough day all the way around for the Big Ten. Florida sent Urban Meyer out a winner with a victory over Penn State. Michigan had its worst bowl loss ever against Mississippi State in the Progressive Gator Bowl. Alabama annihilated Michigan State. Mark Ingram, a couple of scores. Northwestern rallied. They were way behind, made it respectable, but lost to Texas Tech. And then Wisconsin, in an exciting Rose Bowl game presented by Vizio, went down to TCU. So 0 for 5 today for the Big Ten.
Fitzgerald's a good coach. The more I see his teams play at Northwestern, the more I watch him, he's really good.
And the pass is off the hands of Difton and intercepted by Tony Jefferson, and another pick six. Two interception returns for touchdowns for Oklahoma tonight, and both of them hit Connecticut receivers. This one returned 22 yards by Tony Jefferson, the true freshman.
Well, it's in his hands, but it's also a good defensive play on the backside. He didn't quite get the number, and then just a nice job of taking it back by Jefferson.
His second interception of the season. He's out of Chula Vista, California, in Southern California, San Diego area. Jimmy Stevens makes it 48-20. Pick sixes in the game. Connecticut had one earlier by Dwayne Graff. Coming up after the game tonight. Stay tuned for the Ford BCS postgame show. And remember to log on to bcstailgate.com for your chance to win the ultimate tailgate F-150.
You know, Sean, as you watch this UConn team, and they like what they had in Jordan Tobin run the football, but they never trusted their quarterback position. It wasn't even Zach Frazier. It was they went through a bunch of them this year.
They played 3 different starting quarterbacks this year.
Right, and they never were comfortable with where they were in the passing game.
Well, in defense of Frazier, he got almost zero help.
I was going to say that, you know, even because I thought he actually threw the ball pretty well tonight.
Best way to kick off again. Bounces one down the field. Anthony Sherman again to the 32-yard line. Well, believe it or not, there's still more action. Not only the national championship game still to come from here in Glendale, but the GoDaddy.com Bowl is this Thursday night on ESPN. Dwight Dasher, a talented player, leads the Sun Belt champs Middle Tennessee against the MAC champs Miami of Ohio, the Red Hawks. GoDaddy.com this Thursday, 8 Eastern on ESPN. Of course, Miami of Ohio was the school that Mike Haywood was coaching. Took the Pitt job. And they've hired Don Treadwell, the Michigan State offensive coordinator at Miami of Ohio. Of course, Mike Haywood fired today after being arrested yesterday on a domestic assault charge in Indiana. Jordan Todman runs out near the 50. I want to go back to Jim Harbaugh for 1 second. You spent a lot of time in the NFL. I would think if Jim Harbaugh wants to stay in college football and if Michigan wants him, then that's where he's going to go. I mean, that's his dream job. He grew up there, played there, has great affection for the school and a lot of friends back there. But there are also NFL teams that have expressed interest, supposedly. His name's come up in Carolina, San Francisco, to name just a couple.
Well, he has such a good pedigree in coaching, number one. He comes from a coaching family. And then he's been around the National Football League, played for a long, long time with great success. And then he's made his mark now in college football. So he's got the best of all the worlds. I think he'd be a fantastic choice no matter where. He has head coaching experience. And there's something about the head coach. It's more, you know, it's not X's and O's. It's about managing people. And it's about managing your staff and getting your team ready and those type of things. And he's demonstrated that.
Just think his personality is so fit for college football. He's a great recruiter. He's so personable. He has that gung-ho school spirit attitude. Chief Moore the catch. They're driving nicely here after a reception by Griffin. It's Moore with 1.5 minutes to go.
You know, Sean, he's got a lot of his brother, and which of course comes from his dad. But you know, when I watch him, he's got a lot of Mike Ditka in him, and I like that. I'm a big fan of Ditka.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Jack and John Harbaugh too. Two of the finest people you'd ever meet, not just in coaching, in any walk of life.
Well, John has his team poised to make a run here.
Yep. 3 years in a row, he'll have them in the playoffs. They're thinking about the Gatorade bucket on the Oklahoma sideline. Undoubtedly, this has to be a burden lifted. You know, Bob Stoops didn't want to talk about the 5 straight BCS Bowl losses, 3 of them for national championships. But it's nice to have that thing off the list of things they can cross off, talk about. Ooh. Looked like Griffin might score that elusive touchdown for the Connecticut offense, but he was tripped up at the 6-yard line. They don't want to play the entirety of their last 2 games of the season without an offensive touchdown. Todman down to the 5. Of course, the future is interesting in the Big East with TCU joining the year after next.
That will shake things up. That is a talented team, as we saw this afternoon. Beating Wisconsin, that was a good game. Wisconsin, of course, tried to go for the 2-point conversion, did not get it, did not get the onside kick, but
Frazier throws, and it's incomplete, intended for Kashif Moore. Yep, they're ready for the
old stalking bucket.
Gatorade bucket.
Always, here's the key in college football. Always get 2 departing seniors to dump it on your coach. Never use an underclassman. If you're an underclassman and he don't like the cold, you ain't playing next year.
Herb Beal was offside. And think back to the story Bob Stoops told us earlier in the year when we were out there for the Florida State game.
On the defense, number 44 across the neutral zone, threatened the offensive formation. Half the distance to the goal, still 3rd down.
So he got the job. His plan was go back to Gainesville, get his personal affairs in order. But then he started recruiting, started putting together staff. He barely got back to Gainesville, running around. He was very happy as the defensive coordinator in Florida. When he finally got back to Gainesville a couple weeks later, he said to one of his best friends, "I think I've ruined my life."
Exactly.
But it turned out to be just the opposite. He's working his way toward legendary status at Oklahoma if he isn't there already. Jordan Todman didn't quite get to the end zone. We said it's hard to think of him as 50 years old. I didn't realize until we got ready for this game that they've had a lot of young coaches. Bud Wilkinson, Fairbanks, Switzer, all were 35 or younger when they became the head coach at Oklahoma. Todman stopped on 4th and goal. So they cannot get that elusive touchdown. And they can get the not so elusive coach with the Gatorade bucket. He'll take it. They've waited a long time for that in the BCS game.
Yeah, that was smart. See, Mensick's a senior. He dumped it on him.
He's a Mensick candidate.
He's a Mensick guy. That's right.
Because they won a bowl game last year, but the Sun Bowl, but it's their first BCS bowl win since 2003. 5 straight losses since that Rose Bowl win. And for Oklahoma, 26 bowl wins now in 44 bowl appearances. And a nice bounce back season. And meanwhile, a huge step for the Connecticut program. Only fully up to the 85 scholarships you're allowed in FBS football in 2002. And in a BCS bowl game. Jones takes a knee. And Oklahoma will finish the season at 12-2. And Connecticut 8-5. Those two have known each other a long time when they were assistant coaches. Stoops at Kansas State, Edsel at Boston College. They used to recruit South Florida. Ran into each other a lot, got to know each other. And Bob is with Heather.
Coach, congratulations on the win. At what point did you know this would be a special night?
When we took a knee at the end. I don't ever, when you're out there coaching, you don't, you're playing to the end. And, kids did a heck of a job. Players deserve the credit, and I'm proud of them. Randy's got a great team at Connecticut, so we had a good game. They had some big plays with the interception, and then the kickoff return against us. I hung around, but our guys kept playing well.
How was your defense able to hold UConn's offense without an offensive touchdown this entire game?
They played really well, really solid. They had their plays, which they're going to, but thought we played the run game, really well. They worked us a couple of drives, but overall, that's where it started. And then, we got some big turnovers and got pressure to them.
Coach, this is your first BCS Bowl win in 6 tries. How much is there a feeling of relief and redemption right now?
That's not a, I don't have all that like everyone else wants to talk about. In the end, as I put it before, I said, if you want to be technical about it, we've lost 3 national championships and our last 2 BCS Bowls. So I look at it that way. But in the end, hey, it's good to win. These guys did a great job. So it was, it's fun.
How impressed were you by your big 3 on offense tonight?
Those guys are great players. Landry had a huge game. Ryan Broyles just does some of the most amazing things catching the football. And DeMarco's just always so steady, tough, physical. Proud of all of them.
Coach, go enjoy the win. Congrats.
Thank you, Heather. Appreciate it.
Well, you can tell that 5-game losing streak still does rankle him a little bit.
Just a tad.
Might have said it's no big deal, but I'm thinking he's be happy that he will not have to answer a question like that again anytime soon. He'll have to answer again in the press conference. We'll see how he deals with it then. Well, Heather asked him about the big 3, and they were huge tonight. Jones threw for 429 yards, an Oklahoma Bowl record. Ryan Broyles at 13 catches, 170 yards, and DeMarco Murray 93 yards rushing on 25 carries. And you make it a big 4 tonight on offense because Cameron Kenny had 7 catches for 154 yards and a touchdown.
Well, he had a lot of help. You had Trey Franks, the wide receiver. You had Stills on the outside. And again, I'll go back. We know what the big 3 could do. They're a lot more talent here, and they're young, and they are going to be around for a while.
There's a reason why they were #1 earlier in the season. Here's Heather.
And we've got 2 of the 3 here. Landry, congratulations on the win. How much pressure were you feeling to really rewrite the BCS Bowl history for your team?
It's just a great feeling coming out here and winning a bowl game for us, especially a BCS Bowl with just our past and just losing so many of them. Just winning one for the program and winning one for OU and Coach Stoops and all those guys. And it's just a great feeling right now,
This team told me that this week you guys watched tapes of some of those BCS losses at the hotel. How much did that motivate you?
Motivated us a lot, man. It made me mad personally, just seeing those things, and then just motivating us, knowing that we came into the same situation a couple times and came out with the losses, and just getting it done tonight. It was just a great feeling right now to win the game.
Congratulations, you got it done with a lot of great passes to your teammate Ryan Broyles. Ryan, congratulations. Is this your last game in an Oklahoma jersey?
It's not time for me to decide yet. I'm stoked up on this win. Enjoy this night with the guys.
What type of message were you trying to send to the team, to everybody watching out there about Oklahoma football?
It's redemption. It was about time we get a win. Just going to soak on this win, and we're looking forward to what comes.
And you made it look easy, despite the fact that I saw you actually get sick on the sideline several times throughout the evening. How did you persevere?
Just put my body on the line for this team. Football is a physical sport, so I know it's all about the team.
Speaking of the team, that 3rd member of that triple-headed offense, DeMarco Murray, congratulations on an incredible performance out here. How did you guys get it done?
We just prepared the way that we were supposed to. All week, we prepared the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season. We worked hard. We fought through a lot of things, and we just got it done.
Could you have scripted a better way to finish your senior season?
Not at all. I've waited 5 years to play in one of these, and, I'm blessed, and God has put me through so much. He's brought me up and brought me down, and like I said, I'm blessed to play in one of these, and my last game being a win, especially at the BCS. I love my teammates. I love this program, and I'll never forget this win.
Go enjoy it. Congratulations. Back to you, Sean.
All right, Heather, thank you. Congratulations to the Oklahoma Sooners. Final score, 48-20. The Sooners are your Tostitos Fiesta Bowl champs. Stay tuned for the Ford BCS postgame show right after these messages.
The Ford BCS postgame show is brought to you by the new 2011 Ford F-150. Built Ford Tough. Welcome to the Ford BCS postgame show.
And welcome back to University of Phoenix Stadium, where Oklahoma has defeated Connecticut in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Let's head down to the field to John Saunders for the Fiesta Bowl Awards ceremony. John?
Sean, thanks a lot. First of all, our congratulations to the University of Connecticut on a fine season. But our best congratulations to Oklahoma and the Sooners for winning the Fiesta Bowl. Coach Bob Stoops is trying to get his captains up here, but we're going to try and do that in a moment. But first of all, joining me to present the awards are Tostitos Vice President, Mr. Justin Lambeth, Director of Tostitos, Ms. Janelle Hottinger, and Tostitos Fiesta Bowl Chairman, Mr. Dwayne Woods. Dwayne, will you make the first presentation?
Yes, my great honor on behalf of our 3,000 volunteers to present the 40th annual Tostitos Fiesta Bowl game trophy to head coach Bob Stoops and the Oklahoma Sooners. Congratulations, coach.
Bob, we talked to coaches before the game and some of the players, and they were so intense. They felt that the last couple of times you were here, you didn't have the knockout punch, and so you went to Sugar Ray Leonard and Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, we wanted to come in with a fighter's mentality. We've been watching some good boxers through the years, and so they did a good job fighting here tonight.
It was interesting because this was typical Bob Stoops football, a great offense and a dominating defense.
Well, I was proud of the players. They sure deserve the credit. You know, both sides of the ball really did play well all night. Offense moved it, run and pass, and defense didn't give up a touchdown the entire night. It's pretty special.
The other thing that people like to make a lot of is the fact that you guys lost 5 of these in a row, but the way I look at it, to lose them, you got to be in them, right?
They're not easy to get to. Just look around the country, and I've always had an appreciation for that. I realize that, and so anyway, I'm proud of these players for being able to bring this trophy home.
Well, congratulations to you once again on a fine season.
Appreciate it.
And time now to hand out the Defensive Player of the Game award to Jamel Fleming, who had an interception return for a touchdown and 7 tackles, one of 2 interception returns for touchdowns your team had. Did not give up a defensive touchdown in the game, or rather an offensive touchdown in the game, and made that last-second stop as well. How important was that to you guys?
Oh, really important. We played all hard, played hard as we could this whole game, and we're just happy that we came out with a W.
Your team seemed extremely focused, especially on defense. You get that 4th down stop early in the game. How key was that?
Oh, big. It gave us momentum, and we just flew right off the momentum, so we're happy.
Congratulations. Time to bring in Landry Jones, the offensive player of the game. Over 400 yards passing, setting another Oklahoma Bowl record for passing in the 2nd most yards ever in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. You came out firing in this game, and again, the focus of the team so important.
Yeah, just want to give it to my teammates right now. The offensive line, receivers, tight ends, defense, they just did a great job and made my job easy tonight, and came out here and executed well and got us a good win.
Were you aware you completed your first 11 passes?
I was too focused on the game. I didn't even notice that I completed the first 11 passes.
When you think about your career at Oklahoma, you started last year not even knowing you were going to be a starting quarterback because Sam Bradford was in there. He gets hurt. How much have you learned from him, and what advice do you have for him tomorrow? Because he's got a pretty big game coming up for the Rams.
Just learning from Sam last year, just getting into a rhythm. That's one of the big things he always told me. Get yourself in the rhythm. If there's things not quite as open downfield, go ahead and take your check down and just get yourself going a little bit. And so I'll just relay that advice back to him. Get yourself in a rhythm tomorrow and take your check down, so don't force anything down the field, and take care of the ball.
All right, I'm sure he's listening and watching right now. Congratulations to Landry Jones, Bob Stoops, and the Oklahoma Sooners. Right now, back to Sean McDonough.
All right, John, thank you. We'll be back with more of the Ford BCS postgame show from Glendale, Arizona, right after these messages.
The Ford BCS postgame show is brought to you by Tostitos, Lay's Classic, and Sun Chips. We make them natural. You make them fun. Welcome back to the Ford BCS postgame show.
We're back in Glendale, Arizona. 2011 Tostitos Fiesta Bowl goes to Oklahoma 48-20 over Connecticut. All three of the big three starred tonight. Landry Jones completed his first 12 passes. Wound up throwing for 429 yards. Only Browning Nagel of Louisville threw for more yards in a Fiesta Bowl back in 1991 against Alabama. DeMarco Murray finally healthy and able to play in his first BCS bowl game as a senior. He was outstanding, and Ryan Broyles had 13 catches for 170 yards and a touchdown. Congratulations to Bob Stoops in Oklahoma, and thanks for watching the Ford BCS postgame show. Final score, Oklahoma 48, Connecticut 20. The Sooners are your 2011 Tostitos Fiesta Bowl champs. Sports Center next here on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Matt Millen, Heather Cox, John Saunders, Jesse Palmer, and our entire crew, Sean McDonough saying so long from Arizona. Happy New Year, everyone. Now Sports Center.